Hey there, We Can't Wrestle podcast listeners. If you haven't noticed, we have switched our server to Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So go ahead, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Highly recommended by me and everybody else here at the We Can't Wrestle podcast.
You're listening to the We Can't Wrestle podcast. Now it's time for our host, Nate Matson.
Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the latest edition of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. Nate Maxon here with you, and of course, as always, I am joined by my convivial co-hosts, Mr. Kyle Army, Aron Maxon, and Archie Mitchell. Convivial.
Ooh. What the hell is convivial mean?
What is convivial?
We're using big words today, fellers.
You use
Guys,
your word.
I don't know
your
if
word
our
of the day,
fans.
toilet paper.
Look like a goddamn hippie.
I don't know if our fans can fucking know what convivial means.
Please just don't shave your beard again, because then your eyebrows will disappear.
Yeah,
I've never not had eyebrows.
But with your beard gone, the eyebrows recede back into your skull until the beard grows back.
now, you know what's messed up? In high school, we had a buddy of ours at a camp that like we tried to convince him to shave. Like, remember when it was cool? Like you shaved like a little like line in your eyebrow.
Well, it was never cool, but I remember when people did it. Yes.
So we convinced him. We're like, dude, you should like do it like all across your eyebrow. Like have like line. Like if one is cool, like multiple will be like super badass. And he did it. And he's like, oh, this looks bad, guys. We're like, well, I guess you're gonna have to shave it off. He's like, guys, if I do it, will you do it? Me and my buddy Mark are like, yeah, man, we'll do it. He fucking shaves it off, and he's like, all right, guys. We're like, no, that looks fucking stupid, man.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Oh,
So
man.
we are playing Super Cards 2, Dream Cards 2, I should say. We have all booked Dream Cards based on years we were assigned by other members of the team.
Yeah,
Kyle got 2003.
Yeah.
Archie got 98.
Yep. Damn
Aron
right.
got 95, and myself was assigned 1997. Archie, you were going to say something, and I cut you off.
Well, Super Cards 2 sounds like we're playing Magic the Gathering or something like that.
Yes,
Guys,
it's Dream
deck?
Cards 2, yes.
Yeah,
Got your
you
deck?
got your deck.
I
I only
picture-
have a Charizard. I'm sorry. I didn't.
I was going to say, I
picture.
picture an ad that would come up,
Yeah.
you know, on an app where I'm trying to do something on an app, and an ad comes up for some game with fire going across the screen or whatever.
Now, to be fair, I was giving Aron 2000, the year 2000, and around the month of May because of him making us watch Thunder. But I was
Dave
nice
did
and said, no, you picked the number.
But he knew he could have just been like, "Oh no, yeah,"
Oh no!
and like rigged that shit.
But Nate doesn't do that. Nate wants to see us go through that hell.
Yeah. We're not the WWE. We don't, you know.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know that Nate didn't have like 1 through 10 all just thunder?
You'll never know.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
I'm saying.
He's going to pull the
Nate's
Paul
fault.
Heyman out now. He'd be like, you're going to be wondering when you leave here tonight,
Right.
did I possibly?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna message Nate after this. Did you really have Thunder on L10?
You'll never know. So before we start that, as we're recording it, it's Thursday night, the 10th of September. The show will be out over the weekend at some point, but we found out today that pretty shitty move after 36 years of service. As a matter of fact, after being one of the guys that helped him get into business, the WWE and Vince McMahon released Gerald Briscoe today. And a lot of times I am that guy. I'm that guy who's like, people just love to shit on Vince and shit on WWE and blah, blah. But you know what? letting Jerry Briscoe go, that's a shitty move. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, let's say this. Oh, okay. Let's say this. I'll play devil's advocate here. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pat Patterson, okay, is retired and isn't in the WWE anymore. Are you going to tell me that Pat Patterson isn't still getting money from Vince McMahon?
Well, Gerald Briscoe seems pretty broke up about this, though.
Well, I think it was because of the way Vince did it. He just called him after Monday Night Raw and was like, Gerald, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not just this. It's also the fact that he came out and said, as we discussed on 60 Minutes or Less this past weekend, that now that he has given everyone 30 days to get off of any other type of social media,
right,
or have any other thing. Like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, what is he thinking?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on as far as. I mean, I understand. It sounds terrible, but as a business person, I understand that right now they, the talk is they're letting some office people go. They're letting some road television people go, which I understand that. I mean, the way the business is at the moment. I mean, you have to make cuts, especially with people whose jobs are obsolete at the moment.
But here's the problem, and this is my biggest problem: is they are still a fucking $1 billion company,
right?
Correct.
And I go off of what Nintendo did back in the '90s. Well, actually, I think it was like the 2000s when the Nintendo Wii came out, or no, not the Wii, the GameCube came out. It was a flop. It didn't do well.
Right.
Their CEO, instead of letting people go, he took a pay cut himself to supplement that money.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, that's how you handle business.
BKM ain't doing that.
No, I mean, look at the bad part, too. You got Triple H selling over $2 million worth of stock last week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then you got every now and then Shane drops a chunk of stock. And I understand these guys want money. They need money, money in their hand. But then you think about it. Okay, so you had more because he still has all that other stock left.
Right.
But you're firing people, sell stock, and pay your pay your people.
Look, I don't want to get into politics or anything else here, but I will say this: it's pretty goddamn ridiculous that we have a country now where people are fucking over the little guy, when they're the ones who make it for everybody else. They're the ones who actually doing the work, and then we have Congress and the Senate who can't fucking. All they want to do is bicker back and forth and yell at each other and be like, "Oh, this person's doing this." This person's doing this instead of getting people actual help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck are we doing, guys? Like, why are we allowing this to happen?
And we are just blindly. Also today, some sad news. Barry Scott, the guy who did all those awesome intro videos for the TNA pay-per-views back in the day.
Didn't he do something for WWE as well?
I believe so.
Probably in the early 90s, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You'll know that voice when you hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Barry Scott passed away today. So rest in peace. And
Nate,
go ahead.
It's safe to say, at that time, sometimes Barry Scott's intro to the pay-per-view was better than the actual show. Yeah.
You know what I
mean?
He is one of those guys that goes down in history as like, it was like Freddie Blassie bringing in a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, those intros are always fantastic.
He's up there with him.
Definitely.
And last but not least, those of you that are familiar
with him.
Those of you that are familiar.
Well, I'm an optimist here, not a pessimist. So I would like to believe that
a lot of the listeners
I just meant under the
know.
ground. I'm not saying Fred Blassie's in hell.
Well, I'm glad you aren't
under the grass.
Your way about it.
A lot of the listeners that listen, maybe if you're in California or like where Archie is in Jersey or what have you, you may not know this name or you may know this name. But also, side note, if you're a fan of Ohio and Indiana, in the indie scene around where we live, midget wrestler Puppet is dead.
I'm familiar with Puppet.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, what a day.
I believe Puppet was on the very first TNA pay-per-view when they used to do the $9.99 a week pay-per-views.
I think you're right now.
And that's where,
he pulled a gun and he masturbated in a trash can.
Yeah, and they fired him like 3 weeks in.
I will say
when
this.
you masturbate in a trash can and pull a gun,
Yeah,
you're gonna
Pretty
get
much
fired.
it for you.
they're not going to promote you.
That's why I lost my last job.
And that's why Kyle's unemployed.
Yes, sir.
That's why I do this podcast.
Fire in the hole.
That's why I do
Call
this
that an
podcast
Army
special.
But no, it's sad to see that because especially like nowadays, like midget wrestlers and midget wrestling isn't looked at as fondly as it was back in like the 90s and even the 80s. But like they were definitely
You're stretching, buddy.
no. Like for any fans who go and watch like demolition derbies, they always have like the Powerpuff Girls.
Mhm.
It's that thing to kind of help wash your palate. Like you can say what you want to say, but like Max Mini, like the kids fucking love that dude.
Oh yeah.
I love that dude.
You know, like midget wrestling was like I loved watching like Mini Vader, Mini
Gold Dust, man. Gold Dust got into that
Mini
shit.
Mankind. Guys,
My
remember
favorite
when
thing
these
about the minis in '97 is the fact that Bret Hart said that Vader fucking hated Mini Vader. Like all the other guys are like, "Ha, there's a little Mini Gold Dust or whatever," but Leon White was like, "Fuck that!" Like he was against Mini Vader, man. Like not the guy, but just the fact that there was like a little Mini Vader, it pissed him off.
Do you guys remember Mini Macho Man in the red, white, and blue outfit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was Tiger Jackson.
Yeah, but they put this like bad makeup on him, and he looked like a really creepy
it
wig.
wasn't even a bad makeup. It was
that
like
him?
a creepy leather mask.
Yeah,
Like a leather faced mask. It looked like
nothing
somebody skinned the Macho Man
Right.
and then put his dead skin over a cantaloupe and was like,
when
"Here
did-
you go."
When did Rob
Put
Zombie
solution
start
on
working
skin.
for the WWE?
Yeah.
What's the lotion on his skin or else it gets the again.
Yeah, again.
My favorite one though was Mini Undertaker because it looked nothing like the Undertaker, and it was just me. He was
Well,
so small.
Mini Gold Dust was like the world's tallest midget too.
Yeah,
like he was.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the fact that remember the time when Hornswoggle was doing all the different characters.
Yep.
He came in the ring as the Mini Taker and fucking he gets down on his knee and does the whole fucking Taker pose.
Yep.
Taker looks over him like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, that being said, and reflection on midgets and such here on the We Can't Wrestle. God, I love this show. We are going to start our dream cards, and I think we've all decided Aaron gets to go first. Aaron got the year 1995. For those of you who did not hear the first dream cards, first of all, shame on you. Go back and listen to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Secondly, the rules are as follows. You get a year, and you can use any active wrestlers from that year to build a 10-match card, whatever your vision for your card is. Just as an example, with mine, I build my card as a standard wrestling card you would go to. I have highs, I have lows. You'll actually hear, you'll notice when I go through, there are guys that aren't on the card that you would think would be on the card, but with the card I was trying to build, they just didn't work in there. Every match can't be a main event, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, any promotion that was any wrestler that was active in any promotion during that year can be on the card. Just building a card that you think would be a fantastic card to go experience yourself. So Aaron was given 1995. So Max,
Nate,
why don't you start us off? Oh, go ahead, Archie.
Yes, I found out what I want my shirt to say in the asylum in the We Can't Wrestle podcast store.
Gotcha. What is it?
Go experience yourself. I want.
I'm writing that down.
You know,
right now.
in context, real quick, as Eric Bischoff would say, context is king on this, but Archie's saying, like, I know what I want my shirt to say in the asylum. Like, I can imagine now, like, Archie in the insane asylum with a shirt that says...
Yeah. I want to pick... Remember the Macho Man shirt where he was behind bars? I want that picture of me like this, and then on the top, go experience yourself. Kyle just made my shirt.
That's the creative process
Nate,
right there in front of you,
Nate,
folks.
Nate,
Yes.
you can make Kyle's shirt whatever you want it to be because he can't read anyway.
Oh my god!
You know, for someone who can't read, mine's the only shirt that has a front and back.
Yes, but To Aaron's credit, his shirt is selling well. It's sold one so far.
He
To
bought it
Aaron.
himself.
To Aaron. He was wearing it today.
I bought my
He's
own
fucking
goddamn
putting
shirt.
Numbers.
I told Nate, I was like, I asked Nate, I was like, how much money am I getting out of this? And he was like, nothing. I was like, I feel like Jesse Ventura right now. I'm gonna start fucking suing and shit.
Aaron's next shirt is going to be, We Can't Wrestle podcast. Aaron's new shirt. Aaron bought this shirt.
Yes. For Aaron's only.
Then I got it and it smelled like vinegar. What the fuck? The shirt smelled like vinegar.
Yeah.
But
Sorry,
anyway.
I'm making them in my basement. Sorry.
And it smells like beer anyways.
You're making them in your basement. It took me 7 days to get it. You were a fucking block away.
I'm
Well,
using the cheapest shipping possible.
Well, did you see what happened with the mail? They fucking threw that shit out.
I got my shirt by Donkey.
Pancho Villa wrote up and
Here's your shirt, sir.
here's your shirt.
Your
essay.
shirt, senor.
Aaron, 1995. Your dream
All right.
card.
All right. And I'm assuming this means we're gonna do these and it's gonna like spur like conversations about the guys. That's the assumption.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, okay. And I do have I for one, I wrote my card and I picked who would win and lose. I was the booker, and I did pick my opener, my main, and my semi-main. So the other ones you could put them wherever you wanted on the card. But the opening match on my show is Too Cold Scorpio versus Jushin Thunder Liger.
Nice.
That's how I'm opening this motherfucker up. We're going to send these two out, and they're going to fucking rip it up, man.
I like it. Scorpio was really strong in ECW in '95, and Liger's always been strong. It doesn't matter what company he was with.
Yeah, I mean, you take Too Cold from probably 93 to early 96 was when he was at his best.
Yep.
And not to ever say anything else was bad. You guys know I love the guy, but
No.
that was probably his prime. And Liger was one of those guys that you can't even say he had a prime because he was always in his prime.
Yep.
Up until even those last NXT years. But
The guy brought out a great, and Tyler Breeze is a decent talent, but he brought a great match out of Tyler Breeze on a takeover event.
Jushin Liger is kind of like Mil Mascaras, where like he is the stuff of legend.
Yes,
right.
I agree.
Liger and Too Cold would light it up.
And
What'd you
Too Cold and Scorpio, like it's sad that when he got to WWF, he was Flash Funk, and the problem was that when he finally switched to Too Cold Scorpio, it's like he had that stigma of being Flash Funk stuck on him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He was still wearing the same outfit.
Yeah, I think he could have done, amazing things.
If they would have let him be himself, yeah. His last year in ECW, when he won the TV and the World Tag Team titles, and he cut that promo where he made Joey Styles announce him as Too Gold Scorpio, and Joey Styles busts out laughing. And then he challenges everybody in the locker room to come out and try to beat him to get him to stay in ECW because he's going to WWF. And if they can't beat him, they got to stay out of the company for so long. I mean, that was amazing. They should have just let him get to WWE and been the same guy.
Which can never happen. It can never happen.
No, if Vince didn't create it, it can't.
So Too Cold and Liger.
Vince is too worried about fucking Mantar and Damien DeVito.
Yeah.
Got to be our fucking creations, pal.
That match is going to be on Aaron's card, by the way.
I'm tuning out.
So with Jushin Liger and Too Cold Scorpio opening the show, getting people up off their asses, at the end of the match, I would put Jushin Liger over. For one, just because, and two, I mean, I'm paying him to come from Japan. He's got to have a reason. Airfare ain't cheap. The next match on my card is another singles contest, and it will pit Razor Ramon versus Lord Steven Regal.
Ooh, contrasting styles.
That would be an interesting matchup. I don't think those two did those two even ever wrestle each other?
Not that I know of.
Even when they were both in WCW, I don't think they ever
maybe
had a match
in a
against
tag
each
match,
other.
the Blue Bloods might have fought in the Outsiders, but
maybe in a dark match. Maybe
yeah.
Well, and not to mention at this time, 95, Hall is in his prime,
right,
doing the best work of his doing the best work of his career as Razor, and Regal's another one of those guys. Now I will say, Regal.
Sorry, I don't want to
No,
interrupt.
it's okay. I was just going to say, Regal had that tough go of it in like 98, 99 when he was fat and out of shape and
well, I'm talking about 95, brother.
I know, but I was just going to say he was consistently
he's
good.
Still better than anybody on the fucking shows now. I'll take a bloated William Regal over fucking Seth Rollins.
I just watched recently. Regal versus Cesaro in NXT, and that was only 2 years ago. And guess what? Regal put up a damn good match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm looking something up here. Is that?
I heard Gary Michael Capetta.
Yep.
Kapetsky.
Nope,
Back
it's
to
not
Jesse
him.
Ventura again.
It's a different Steve Regal. Wow. Okay, I didn't even know there was another wrestler named Steven Regal.
Yeah, Mr. Electricity Steve Regal. He was in the AWA.
That's what it was. It was.
He looked like a pedophile.
He did. You're not even lying.
He wasn't, but he looked like
did.
one. We all thought it was Steve Regal. Turned out it was Buck Zumoff.
Yeah.
But the reason, and you guys seem surprised by this that I put this match on my card, and the reason was I was looking at 95, and in the middle of the card, say you have 8 matches on a card, number 4, if you look at the shows, the number 4 match or whatever, it was Razor in the WWF.
Yeah.
There, and he'd fight Jeff Jarrett or Bam Bam Bigelow or whoever. The person with them's interchangeable, and they'd have the good 25-minute match.
Mm-hmm.
That it wasn't the reason for the selling of the pay-per-view, but it kept the fans interested.
I agree.
Right.
And Regal was the same way in WCW. Regal was that way. You'd have this WCW pay-per-view, and you'd have 3 whatever matches, and then you'd have 3 matches after it. But then Regal was in there, and he'd be in there with Brian Pillman or Larry Zbyszko or Ricky Steamboat. And I'm not saying these guys. Obviously, these guys are great talents to be with. But do you get what I'm saying? This was the wrestling match of the show. And people can say what they want to say about Scott Hall. The guy was a dick, and he was this and he was that. But he was still, at a time, probably the second best. From 92 to 96 when he left, he was probably the second or third best wrestler on the fucking roster.
I was about to say, you can say all day, Scott Hall played politics. Scott Hall had substance issues. Scott Hall could be a prick. But you know what? At the end of the day,
he delivered.
If we're talking about a wrestling card, there are very few guys Kurt Hennig, et cetera, where that is a professional wrestler.
Yep.
And Scott Hall checks every single box as a professional wrestler.
Yeah, and
so does William Regal.
And you can say, it was a dick, and he played politics, and he had a substance issue. Name me a majority of wrestlers you didn't.
Right.
Nowadays,
especially main event guys. Especially
nowadays you can, but
I mean.
No, Aaron, what I will say about this match, you picked the 2 staples of the both companies. Regal was the world television champion during this time, always, or at least, fighting for it. And Ramon was the Intercontinental title champion for WWF. So They were middle of the card, perfect guys to have, like you said, a wrestling match, not a comedy match.
And here's the big thing, guys. Name me one person Scott Hall ever fucking hurt with his fucking shit.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
That's the problem. It's like, look, it's not for me, and I get it, but like, it ain't my place to judge fucking Scott Hall if he wanted to do that shit,
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
it's the promoter's fault. You let him know that he can play politics.
Yeah.
Well, but
you know what I mean?
Everybody plays politics.
Right, but if the promoters would have shut up, Vince didn't let them play politics. Nash and Hall weren't the ones playing politics. It was HBK playing those politics for them. But
Right.
WCW let them walk through the door and let them realize, wait a minute, they're paying us to be here, and all we got to say is we're upset and we're leaving back to the WWF. They're going to give us more money and let us do what we want.
Mm-hmm.
So that's their fault. Hey, if you're going to give me an open door, I'm going to take it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So who wins this match, Aaron?
Razor.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Razor goes over.
Okay.
Razor's edge on Scott or on Steven Regal and 1, 2, 3, and it's probably I'd give him like 20, 22 minutes.
Does he plant him lightly or heavy? Because he said he would plant the guys he liked lightly.
I think everybody loves Steven Regal.
Steven Regal, right? So it was a light plant. Okay.
Well, it depends. It depends on if the pills he gave fucking Razor were fucking goddamn salt pills or if they were actual.
All right, so we good with that one?
Yep.
All right, the next one is the only tag match on my card. It's a tag team contest, and it is the Steiner brothers, Rick and Scott, versus Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit.
Ooh.
So this is the potato match, huh?
Oh yeah, I think this would be a fucking barn burner, man.
Now, were the Steiners still in WWF at this time?
No, they were in ECW.
Yeah, they were in ECW.
They were in ECW. Oh, this is their in between leaving WWF, going back to WCW. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They were splitting their time. They were splitting their time between ECW and Japan at this time.
Yep.
I've always been. Go ahead.
And I was just going with this as those guys being in ECW Japan at the time, and Dean and Chris coming into WCW. I think this would be a fantastic fucking match.
Oh yeah,
There's no way it would be bad.
I have always been a big fan of Benoit and Malenko tagging together.
Yeah.
Like for being horsemen, I know that it wasn't until a couple of years later or whatever, but like for a '98 version of the Horsemen, for Flair, Malenko, Benoit, and Arn. It's a pretty good fucking.
They were the right horsemen. They were the right material.
And could you imagine? Okay, in 1995, I know it's a tag match that I put together, but for maybe 8 minutes or so, fucking Chris Benoit and Rick Steiner
trading holds,
just going at it for 8 minutes. Oh my god!
Sign me up.
That'd be fantastic.
Rick gets the hot tag. In comes Scott. Takes out Dean. Takes out Chris.
Yeah.
And one thing I'll say about one of these teams is, and not necessarily with Dean the build, but what I will say about Malenko and Benoit as a tag team is that is the closest you are ever going to get to the equivalent of a 1983 to 1986 British Bulldogs tag team.
Yes.
Because, I mean, the Bulldogs at that time were, without a doubt, the best tag team in the world. Again, we talk about it. Demons caught up with them, and Davey got a little puffed up, and blah, blah, blah.
I don't give a shit about that.
But no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, to compare that team, that's the closest you would ever get to the magnificence that was early British Bulldogs.
It's WCW's fault for not putting them together quicker when they got there at the same damn time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They waited till they became horsemen to even think about making them a tag team.
Right.
I think these four guys together would be fantastic.
I'm interested in who goes over in this one.
Oh, the Steiner brothers.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
I'd put the Steiners over, and I'd probably have Scotty pin Dean with the Frankensteiner.
Wow.
All right.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. You're good so far.
Well, I know I'm good so far.
Well, we'll see. We'll
I
see
don't
if
need-
they're made. We'll see.
You
if they're
guys
made-
all were like, "Oh, 95. Let's fuck them." I'm gonna
No, I was.
send it back to you guys, man.
Hey,
I'll be
hold
honest.
on.
No,
I could have. It wasn't my choice, but I could have gave. Or it was my choice, Nate. I didn't have your choice here, but I didn't give Nate a horrible fucking year. I gave him 97, his favorite fucking. Not
right.
about fucking
It
people.
was my choice. I could have
Not
given
an
you.
asshole.
I could have given you 2,000.
There's
But I
Kyle's.
said-
There's Kyle's new T-shirt. It's not about fucking people.
I could have given you
It always is
2,000.
about fucking people. I'm just
No,
saying.
look.
I could
listen.
have given you 2,000.
You gotta
But here's my
light
thing.
candles. You gotta fucking put on the music. You gotta have snacks by the bed.
Are you
You
doing
gotta
voodoo right
fucking
now?
be tender.
That's only if you're not good at it. If you just slam it down, you don't need candles and fucking food.
Oh, you
All
gotta
right, we're going.
agree.
We're going.
Hold
We're going
on.
off the
No,
rails
hold
again.
on a second.
Again, as
Again.
usual.
All right, my next match.
Hold on. You said that we gave you a bad year. Do you know why I gave you 1995?
You know I pocket.
Yes, I wanted to see how well you would book such a stacked year in 95. Yes.
That's why the ladies give me the chance because they know I'll rock it.
There you go.
All I'm saying, guys, I got fucking snacks by the bed. Call me. Whatever you want. Dealer's choice.
Snickers,
Pick your poison, man.
I
Snickers,
got
Lay's
Pringles.
potato chips. Right.
I got Starburst. I got Twizzlers.
I mean, if you don't like Pringles, I got Lay's stacks. Whatever you're
Yeah.
into.
You know, I am accommodating. Is all I
On
can
it.
say.
On often Wednesdays, I have Doritos, blue
Yeah.
and red.
I got Cool
Blue,
Ranch.
blue and
Nachos.
red.
Blue and red.
It's like a gender reveal.
All right, Aaron, your fourth match on the card. Let's hear it.
All right, this is the weird one, and this is the I thought when I said the Steiners and the Malenko Benoit match, you guys were like, "Oh, really?" This is the one that I thought might get a weirder reaction.
Okay.
The next match on the card is Flying Brian Pillman
Yeah.
versus Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Oh. You know what? I can see it.
yeah.
And
Now, okay.
this is the match that I thought about more. Like when I wrote my card, I was like, "Oh, this would be a good match. This would be a good match. This would be a good match." When I wrote this one down, I thought this would be a fantastic feud.
Oh yeah.
Like in my mind,
yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, I'm thinking about 6 months of Brian Pillman, the loose cannon Brian Pillman,
Right. He was already the loose cannon. Right.
and Rowdy Roddy Piper. This would be fan-fucking-tastic.
You know what just
6
hit me?
months of these guys.
You know what just hit me? And this was also when Pillman was telling legends that they were washed up has-beens and to get out of the sport. So for him to be telling Roddy Piper this and then Piper just goes off on a shoot, that would be awesome. Wow, I like that. I like that a lot.
So,
You look like you have a thought, Nate.
so far, I'm laying down
No, I
for
would-
1999.
My only thought was I was running through in my head, and I was right that by this time, because you were talking about promos, we were talking about leading up to it.
Yeah.
By this time, Pillman had the cane
Right.
and all that.
the
He was,
glasses and all that
Arn
shit.
Anderson was smacking him across the face, telling
Yeah, he
him to
was-
shut up.
he was rocking the cane and the vest, and I was thinking about okay, because here's Roddy Piper. You never know which Roddy you're gonna get. Is it Wednesday afternoon or evening? Because you never
You
know
don't know
which
what
Roddy
Piper
you're gonna get.
either.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You never know which Roddy. You never know which
And
Brian.
even me as a promoter, I'd be like, you know what, guys? I don't
Just
know what the
go
fuck
out
is
there
going to
and
happen.
Go out there. and
Don't
just-
get me
This is
knocked.
going to be
don't-
fantastic.
All you have to do is not get me knocked off the air.
Right.
Other than that,
And this would be
everything is
fantastic.
As Paul Heyman was talking to Vince when he shot that promo on Vince for ECW and the whole alliance, and he said, "You don't even know what I want to say." And Vince said, Nope.
Go out there and make me money.
Just draw me money.
Yep.
Same thing with these guys. Just draw me fucking money.
So how does the fin A of this thing go down?
Oh, neither guy wins. Or
Okay.
this thing just gets thrown out.
Right.
Like they end up brawling all over the fucking place, and there's no decisive winner at all.
How long do they go? Is it like an instant brawl and they stop it?
They go like 10, 12 minutes.
I'm thinking this is not knocking either performer, but if we're talking about 95, I'm thinking this match would have a lot of stalling. Like there'd be a lot of the, Pillman begging off and walking outside the ring and pointing the cane. And
this is the only non-finish on my card. Nobody wins, nobody loses, and I
have this vision that the finish would involve something along the lines of like referees coming out and fucking Piper and fucking Pillman like taking turns like trying to one up each other by taking out the fucking refs.
Right. Right. Maybe Arn Anderson jumps in the ring and tries to calm down Pillman, and maybe flares with Piper trying to calm him down because
So there's no winner in this match, and then you could even try to do a deal where like, whoever the interviewer would be tries to interview one of them, and the other one attacks it. You like say Gene is trying to interview Piper, and then Pillman attacks Piper, and there's another brawl, and everybody separates them, and you can advance it later on. And that leads into the semi-main event of my show. And the semi-main event of my show is The Undertaker versus Raven.
Okay.
Wow.
all right, hold on. Spoiler alert.
Did you put that on your show?
Yes, it is on my show.
Shit, you're kidding.
Wow.
Well, 2 years later, they're going to have a fucking
A rematch.
shit.
Well, the difference of it is you've got in '95 you've got Undertaker versus ECW Raven. In '97 you've got Ministry of Darkness Taker versus WCW Raven.
Now, and I'm gonna let Aaron elaborate, but I want to say, and because this way, honestly, when we get to it on my card, we can skip over it. I can just elaborate now. You guys know, Raven's one of my favorites ever.
Yep.
And Taker's Taker. And I will say this: the reason that I looked at 1997 and put these two guys in the ring on my show is because these are two of the top 5 gimmicks in wrestling history to me.
Yes.
And that's why. Aaron, I'll let you continue because this is your card, but I just that's my reasoning for these two being in the ring. And again, leading up to it, you could do some cool shit with Raven and Taker.
Yeah, like I would almost, if I'm like booking an angle or whatever, I would almost, how do I say it, like have Raven infatuated with the Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, I know, like Raven being like, I know what I am. This guy, I want everything to do with this guy. And then, and then just Undertaker just casting him aside or what? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then Raven feeling jaded by the fact that the Undertaker doesn't want anything to do with him. And Raven being like, I want to be your minion. I want to do everything for you, and Taker casting him aside and then being offended by it. And now for like 6 or 7 months, you could have Raven just sending people at the Undertaker, like Brian Lee and the Blue Meanie and Stevie Richards and 9-1 and just all these people just sending him at the Undertaker, and then it turns out and it ends up being.
Aaron, what I love about it, if you remember when DDP and Raven feuded in WCW?
Yeah, it's the only good thing DDP ever did.
Well, if you remember, Raven kept talking about Jake over and over again. I think that could be used here with the Undertaker too, in a way, because Raven has ties to Jake, and so does the Undertaker. So you could even be like, have Raven come out and go to the Undertaker. Jake told me about you. and told me what we could be together. And then, not in a gay way, but obviously, like Aaron said, he becomes infatuated with the Undertaker.
Sorry, Archie. Now I just picture Undertaker going, but not in a gay way.
But not in a gay way. I like it. I like the way where that feud could go.
And then Undertaker stuffs him and fucking pins him 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Because obviously Raven's not going over the Undertaker. And that's your semi-main event.
I would have it where, like, no matter what happens, like, the Raven is obsessed with Undertaker. Like, I need to be with you. I need to be.
And if I can't, I'll destroy you. If I can't, I'll destroy you and take your place.
And Paul Bearer eats a fucking even flow DDT.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Just fucking eats it. Like, he ate everything else in his life.
He's game.
Vigorously.
You know what's fucked up? Like, have you guys ever watched the fucking? I think it was when Cornette was in Ring of Honor, and they did that fucking 3-hour shoot with fucking Paul Bearer.
Yep.
And he's talking about how he's like, it never fucking failed. Anytime anybody put a piece of fucking chocolate cake in front of me, here comes fucking Vince McMahon.
And Vince is like, "You gonna eat that, Paul? What are they, you hungry?"
All right, I gotta pee.
All right, Aaron is going to pee, ladies and gentlemen.
And let me write that down.
Yeah.
Mark it.
Pee
Do
break.
you guys care if I go next?
No, not at all.
No, I don't care.
Okay. I'm excited for this, man. Like,
His card is making me more excited for mine and to hear all yours because he has a really good card, actually.
Mine's gonna outshine his, I think.
Well, then
I'll pee too.
Okay.
Kyle, that could be your next shirt.
I'm gonna outsell him.
No, mine's better than yours, and have it be you
Well,
next to Aaron.
It is. It is. Oh, Archie, what a fucking week it's been, my friend. In pro wrestling.
There's more stories outside of the ring than there are in the ring because I thought Raw was okay, NXT was fantastic, and AEW was okay. You know what I mean?
Can I say, like, fucking congratulations to Finn Balor for being the fucking NXT champion again. Oh.
And that was a crazy match. 30 minutes of a back and forth match.
And you know what? Like, I don't know if you saw the behind the scenes where fucking Cole and fucking Balor.
Respect. I love seeing that. I love seeing that.
What are we getting with that? Is that something? Is that...
Well, it's a very big possibility that Cole and the Undisputed Era are not going to be together anymore. You never know.
But yeah, like, oh, man.
The thing that blows my mind, though.
Or Nate,
he had to go pee as well. You Max and pee at the same time. You've got Bullet Club in NXT, Bullet Club on Raw or SmackDown with AJ Styles.
They're on Impact too.
AEW is Bullet Club. Impact has the Good Brothers on, so that's Bullet Club, and then New Japan where they started. Oh, and Marty Scurll is in Ring of Honor. So Bullet Club is in every company.
But I only consider New Japan to be Bullet Club because...
Well, no, I know. But I'm talking about members that have come and gone. You know what I mean?
But if it's me right now as it stands, if I'm AEW...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I wouldn't try to extend an arm out to New Japan. Once this whole COVID thing ends out.
They have. When they gave them Jericho and Moxley for the Wrestle Kingdom last year, they told them, I think we could make a partnership, and what we'd like to have is have Tanahashi come over and challenge for the AEW World title. And New Japan literally gave them the middle finger after Wrestle Kingdom.
Well, and I understand that, but here's the problem, though, and I think that they gave them the middle finger because of the fact that New Japan was trying to put their mark in America. But the problem is
that. But what he really didn't give the middle finger. His exact words were, "You gaijin don't know how to book our talent," which he's not wrong.
No, he's not. But see, that's where you need to have somebody, a representative, come over and help.
Well, I think the good part about AEW is Omega and the Bucks were in Japan. They know how to book that talent. You know what I mean? So there's really no issue there. But I think Okada came over. They shit all over him in Impact. So did the guy in Sonata in LIJ. Look at what they did to Nakamura in WWE. It's just a bad taste in their mouth for giving United States company their talent and then weakening them.
And that's where if I was AEW, I'd be like, we're not WWE. Like, we're not shit on. I got to quick since Nate's gone. But if I was...
No, I would too. All right, so you're 5 matches in. Give me a sneak peek of your 6th match before they come back.
What?
Let me know what your 6th match is before they get back.
Really? It's gonna be
all right. I'll wait. You're right.
Okay.
Don't want to spoil the surprise.
Yeah. I have some goddamn good matches, dude.
Dude, Pillman, Piper.
I can tell you who my commentating team would be. I was gonna wait and put that.
We could wait. It's up to you, though.
My commentating team would be Bobby,
definitely,
Jim Ross, and Joey Styles together.
I love it.
My commentating team.
I expect Styles to walk off after the 6th match, though. Be like, you guys are freaking me out, and just walk away. Kyle isn't back yet. Oh, there he is. You guys keep fast.
I'm back.
He had to shit in the yard.
Don't knock it till you try it.
I've done it.
Mom, Kyle shit in the yard again.
Not my proudest moments, but
Meanwhile, the mom that's being yelled for is the next door neighbor. It's not even his house.
Kyle's just doing it, and he's looking back like this.
A couple weekends ago.
All of you guys have dogs, right? Nate doesn't have a dog. Nate doesn't have... You've had a dog, though. Judah was the shit, Nate. Judah was man.
Now he has cats that want to be on the podcast with us.
You guys have all had dogs, right? You let your dog out, and you're like, oh, shit. And then they go out there, and then they're just like...
Are you watching? Are you watching right now?
You got to clean this up. But no, a couple weekends ago, I went to a buddy's house, and he had a hot tub. And I forgot that if you drink alcohol...
hot tub?
No.
Did you shit in a hot tub?
No.
Kyle Army shit in hot tubs.
I forgot that if you mix alcohol with a hot tub, it fucking intensifies it.
Yep. So you could have a heart attack if you do that.
Well, so what's fucked up is my buddy and his girlfriend, they invited their friend over, and I was like, we're kind of hitting it off. And then I ended up puking in the in the yard and falling asleep in the yard. And they're coming out Kyle, why don't you come inside? I was like, nope, I'm good right here. So I blew that chance.
Next morning, the girl's like, thank you for inviting me over, but your friend shit in the hot tub.
And he puked in the yard. It was just terrible.
The puke didn't bother me, but when he shit in the hot tub, I was a little upset, so I'm going to go.
It was like being at the Kennedy compound.
Yeah. And then the fucking shit liquefied because of the heat. Fucking ruined it for everybody. It was a horrible time.
Good job, Kyle.
They ended up throwing the whole hot tub away. They didn't even want to try to clean it. They just threw it away.
It's okay. It was one of those fucking god-awful...
Once you get peanuts in the filter, you can't do anything about that.
It was one of those fucking Coleman inflatable ones. That Nate used to sell at fucking...
Mm-hmm.
They don't fucking last long anyway.
Yeah. Here's your one-time use hot tub.
I'm glad you know exactly what I'm talking about, Nate.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many of those motherfuckers did you sell?
We sold a lot of them to these hillbillies.
I bet you did.
So I can't get in the lead, but they can get hot tubs. I understand.
Oh, no. You guys ready for my next match?
Yeah, let me write this. Let me write this time.
I dropped the cigarette. Hang on.
Whoa! He just shit on the patio.
That wasn't a fart.
It sounded horrible. Did you eat razor blades or trail mix?
That sounded hot.
It sounded like some trail mix shit.
No, but I got Taco Bell later. So.
Oh my!
Oh no! But wait, there's only 3 things on the menu now, so it's
Which
I want to make you guys laugh real quick.
They're like, oh, we don't have all these things. I'm like, motherfucker, you've had the same thing since 1993. Don't tell me.
My wife asked me yesterday, she's like, I don't feel like cooking. Can we have Taco Bell? I'm like, yeah, but there's a problem with that. She's like, what? I'm like, well, the menu consists of one taco, a napkin that somebody wiped some sauce on, and some beans from a burrito that fell out. There's really not much left on the menu. She's like, God damn it.
All right, Aaron. So Aaron, what is next on your card?
Next on my card is, and when I said the Steiner's Benoit Malenko match and thought I'd get a weird response, maybe it might be this match instead. The next match on my card is the man they call Sting versus Jerry the King Lawler.
It's an interesting matchup.
Why?
I think Lawler and Sting would have a good match, and I think it would be a good feud.
I guess. I mean, sell it to me, make me believe it. Cause
I think Sting coming out there being the animated painted face guy, and and obviously Sting is the face, Lawler's the heel, and I think that for one, this could be the realistic shoot type feud. Like Sting came into Memphis and Lawler was like, I don't see anything in you. You're not going to be anything. Fuck you. Get out of my company. Get out of my territory. And this would be like the Mark feud.
I mean, what
is the way I looked at it.
What's the build? That Sting's mad that Jerry Lawler touches little stingers? I mean,
Lawler likes women.
Yeah, the little stingers.
Oh, I thought you meant like his stinger, like his penis.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant that Jerry Lawler. Never mind.
And I think it would almost be
the fucked up part is he calls them the little stingers.
Yeah,
it would be okay. Look at how good Lawler and Brett did together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's
and I think that this match, like I said, this match to me would be one of. I have two matches on my card that are for marks or for fucking, I shouldn't say marks, like smart people to the business. This is one of the matches,
cute, bro.
Yeah, where
but
Sting,
with Brett though, like Jerry would bring in like Brett's family and stuff, and
well,
so it made sense.
Well, I know this match makes sense though, because Sting came into Memphis as a rookie and was trying to get over, and ended up getting over somewhere else. And then Lawler was the guy that was in. I might be talking in circles on this, but I think Sting versus Jerry Lawler would be a good match. I think there would be a lot of stalling involved in it, but I think on this card, this is a really, really good Memphis style match that you could put on this card, and I think it would be good.
I guess
Sting and Jerry Lawler would be a good match.
I guess if it came down to the fact that like Jerry Lawler was like, Sting, you came into Memphis as a fucking down and out bodybuilder, tried to be a pro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This match, the feud starts on like a king's court, and it's not gonna be anything special. It doesn't start as anything special. Like, oh, today on Superstars, Jerry Lawler on the King's Court is going to have Sting, and Sting's going to come out, and these guys don't even have a beef with each other at the start, but then it turns into something like Lawler makes a snide comment like, here on the King's Court tonight we have Sting, and then Sting comes out and he's like, oh man, look at you now. I never thought you'd amount to anything. You know what I mean? Like gives him like a backhanded compliment.
I
Sting fucking smacks the shit out of Lawler, and then it stems from that.
I envision Jerry saying something like, "Oh, Sting, why do you paint your face? Is it because you're ashamed? You don't want your family to know. You don't want,
Right.
You're trying to hide your face so that way people know,
I think this would be a good match. It might be the biggest dud on my card.
You know what?
Every card has to have a dud, I guess.
You got me.
And it's Sting and Lawler.
Who goes over?
Huh?
Who goes over?
Sting.
Lawler. 'Cause they're in
Sting
Memphis.
wins. Sting beats him with the fucking Scorpion Deathlock.
And which reign of the USWA title is Lawler in during this?
600.
1 in 95.
1 in 95.
All of them.
All of them.
Next
What's
match,
next?
I know that was a dud, but to me, it would be cool.
We froze. We froze for a second there. Or I did anyway.
Aaron?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
The next match is Owen Hart versus Eddie Guerrero.
Wow.
That would tear it down.
Kyle is frozen by the
We
way.
just gave you a shit match, apparently. And now, sorry. Here's Owen Hart versus Eddie Guerrero.
See, now the Sting versus Lawler match makes sense, though, because even if it is a dud, you want to bring the crowd down a little
Mm-hmm.
so that Eddie Guerrero and Owen Hart can jump them up and bring down the house again. So,
Kyle's dead.
I like it.
And who goes over here?
Owen.
Okay.
I like it.
He's the heel?
I like it.
Yeah. We just put a big baby face over, and now we gotta change it up a little bit. Let Owen.
Right.
I
Mhm.
like it.
And this match has, like, this would be the match on my card that has, like, no real feud per se.
Right.
Just like, hey, tonight on this show, you're gonna see Eddie, and you're gonna see Owen, and they're gonna have a match. What happened to Kyle?
Probably internet issues.
They would have, that would just be your, not really any history or anything match.
See,
Just-
Match.
no
And-
history, but I think there could be build here, Aaron. I mean, like maybe during an Owen Hart match, you have Eddie come out dressed as the Blue Blazer as a
Mhm.
shot at Owen, and then Owen, to get back at Eddie, he comes out dressed like the Black Tiger because they both wore a mask in their time.
Yeah,
Right.
But,
You know,
see, when I put this on there, I thought, for one, this would be a fantastic match. I mean, there's
Welcome
no
back,
way
Kyle.
that there's no way that Owen Hart and Eddie Guerrero aren't going to have a good match.
oh no,
Right.
But
no, not at all.
but the main thing I thought of was, even if you had to put some kind of angle on it, you could put, like, family versus family.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the legacy.
That's
Yeah,
what
like,
I
just like a
Guerrero.
kind of a legacy match.
Yeah, yeah,
For
without
sure.
a doubt. You
Like I
have
said,
Eddie come
I-
out, cutting a promo. The Guerrero is the most disrespected name in the wrestling world. Q Owen.
Mhm.
You know,
and
it works.
and like I said, I put Owen over.
I have
and-
no problem with that.
That's how that match would go.
Your eighth match?
Oh,
Match.
good.
Very nice.
My eighth match in 1995. Remember, we're talking about 1995, guys. Would be the Nature Boy, Ric Flair versus Shane Douglas.
Uh-huh.
Perfect. Perfect.
How
Well, I mean,
not?
if you're going to strike while the iron's hot,
Yeah.
this is the time
And
to
this
do
would
it.
be-
You're a year
and-
into Douglas going off on Flair every week on ECW.
Right,
Mhm.
and this would be my no DQ, no whatever grudge match on my card. Ric Flair versus Shane Douglas.
And you have to put Flair over.
Oh yeah, Flair wins.
You don't have to put either over. You could let, like, the same way. I know you said you only have one non-finish, but they could brawl through the arena.
Oh, Flair gets to figure four on him, and fucking
You know,
Shane taps like a
What
bitch.
I love about this match, I love the placement of it. There were months of Douglas being on ECW saying, "I'm inviting the Nature Boy to the ECW arena," and you do that for 2 months straight, and maybe like the week before Flair comes out, Douglas teases it and plays 2001: A Space Odyssey, and then goes, "Ha ha, he's not here," and then the following week, here comes Flair.
I'm going to disagree
See-
with. I'm going to disagree with Ric Flair going
Well,
over.
well, No, this is what I'm gonna say with Arch. Like, if I'm booking this thing and this is like a super card and all these guys are in different places or whatever,
Right.
player never steps a foot in the
Okay.
ECW arena.
Okay.
Never steps a foot in it because that guy would be like, "Why
No, you're right.
Why?
You're right.
would I step foot in a disgusting, moth-ridden,
Bingo.
roach-filled fucking shithole like the ECW arena?" You know,
He
like,
would- that's exactly what he would say. You cut his promo to the T. You're right.
Unless,
like if
What
I
I
take
would
my
do-
limo there, I'm not going to have tires when I leave. Like, why would I go there?
what
You
I
ever
would
try?
do-
You ever tried to park a limo in downtown Philadelphia?
what I would do is I would have Shane Douglas there, and I'd have Paul Heyman there with him, and I'd have it some way where Paul Heyman costs Flair the match, and then have fucking Shane Douglas come out there every week on ECW, be like, "I beat fucking the 14-time world champion Ric Flair," and then you have Ric Flair show up to the fucking ECW arena and be like,
Right.
"You know what, pal?
Ric
I've come to your
Flair
fucking
would
neck of the
never
woods."
step foot in the ECW arena, is what I'm
He-
saying.
He would
And
if he had a reason to.
and if I'm booking ECW, okay, if I'm booking ECW and I have Shane Douglas and he's my biggest heel, all right, honestly, I wouldn't want him to beat Ric Flair because once your biggest heel does the thing
Right.
that he's always wanted to do, guess what? He's not your biggest heel anymore.
Right.
Yes, he is.
Rick-
Because
No, he isn't. Because your heel needs to fail, but still go out there and say, "Look what I did."
and I get what you're saying, but hang on, let me elaborate on this. There's more money in the fact of Shane Douglas beating Ric Flair, coming
there
back to ECW, saying, "I beat the 14-time champion. There's
Can I-
nobody in this fucking company who can even touch me."
Can I add to Aaron's finish and maybe placate everybody?
Yes,
Go for it.
No,
All right.
go ahead.
Douglas loses. Douglas taps to the figure 4, okay? Flair gets his clean win. He's beat this disease. And then afterwards, you do what Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho did at WrestleMania 19. Douglas feigns the handshake
And then kicks him low.
and then kicks him in the nuts. Now Flair has beat him, but Douglas has got his heat back.
Right.
Is that acceptable?
And I get it,
Yeah.
but
And you could even have Shane tap to the figure 4, and then
all
when he
I'm-
gets to ECW, be like, "I didn't tap. I was reaching for the ropes. I was reaching for the, something
all
like
I'm-
that."
all I'm
There's
saying
no
is,
way that Shane
I'm
Douglas
looking-
wins this fucking match.
all
There's
I'm saying is
no way.
if you look at both companies, if Shane Douglas wins, and I'm just hang on, but if Shane Douglas wins and Flair comes to the ECW arena, there's no way that they don't have to put that in a bigger fucking building, because there's nobody in this world that the ECW fans are going
It's
to
gonna-
cheer
right.
more than Ric fucking Flair.
Mm-hmm.
Even if Flair beats one of their own, it's fucking Ric Flair.
Well, and the ECW fans were funny because they, we hate Lawler or whatever, but the minute Lawler showed up, they popped.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 'cause they got to see fucking Lawler.
The only respectable way Flair could lose, and hear me out here, Aaron. You built Piper versus Pillman, and I said you have Flair come out and push Piper away and be like, "Hey man, you got to stop." Now you get to the later part of the card. Pillman comes out because he was on his way to ECW after WCW anyway in '96. Pillman comes out and maybe costs Flair the match, and then
Maybe.
that leads to
But-
more of a build, But I like the way you built it though, because it's still building to Flair versus Shane, no matter who wins.
Yeah.
And now we get Aaron's main event.
No, I have one more match.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought
that
you were.
ain't-
I thought you were at
9.
9. I thought that was 9.
No.
My bad. My bad.
I have one more match, and then my main event. The last match before my main event is the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels versus the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Oh God, I have that on my card too, but much lower.
How
the
could you
card.
not book that? That is the match that should have happened and never did.
Yep. I have it on my card too.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I like it.
And this was something I thought about with it, and it might be stupid. I don't know.
Go ahead.
But
It is.
you know who I threw in the middle of it? Like, this person would be like the most conflicted person. This whole
Sherry.
Yep.
Sherry?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I like
Sherry,
that.
right in the middle of it. And I almost had it where Sherry Martel is trying to go back and look at all the people that she managed and all these people that she has history with, and is wanting to like put like a tag team together or something. And she's like, "Oh man, the Macho Man and Shawn Michaels would be a fantastic tag team," but they end up just not gelling whatsoever after she put them together, and like Savage like hits the elbow, but Shawn tags himself in. Like Randy and
Right.
and Shawn would try to team, but like Randy would hit the elbow and Shawn would tag himself in and steal the pin, and Randy would be pissed about him and smack him. Like maybe even have Shawn and Randy team together for like 2 months and do decent, but
Right.
have like dissension during that time, and it just ends up building
I
to
like
this.
that.
And now Sherry's in the middle. Who's
I
she
like
gonna side with?
I like it. You're doing
Who
that
does?
WrestleMania 5 kind of thing with
Mhm.
whose side is she gonna?
So whose side does she join?
She joins Shawn, and Shawn goes over because I have in my mind. I don't know if it would be something that would be physically possible, but if they could do it, I would want this to be the finish of the match. And the finish of the match would be Savage slams Shawn Michaels, okay, goes up for the elbow, does his Macho Man deal, and he's going to jump off with the elbow, and Shawn pops up and kicks him right in the fucking chin.
Oh, we're going
Ends
with
in
an
1, 2,
early
3.
super. Wow, I like that.
They could do it.
Yeah, definitely. I like it.
Savage goes for the elbow, has him beat, but Shawn pops up, super kick in the chin, 1, 2, 3. Leaves with Sherry, and you can go on for a year with that shit.
That makes Shawn an instant star by that time, because at 95, Shawn was still coming into his own.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And
I
what
like
the
that.
fuck does Randy? Like, what does Randy hurt if he gets pinned?
No, he was getting
Randy-
beat on WCW every week anyway.
Randy would have been the guy that been like, "You're gonna fucking beat me, bro."
Yeah,
And
you have to go over.
All right,
like it.
Aaron, I want to hear your main event, my friend.
Yep.
my main event, my big show, is the Immortal Hulk Hogan versus Bret the Hitman Hart.
Ooh.
And
Provided
this
we
would
can get
be-
them in the ring.
Right.
And this was before all the bullshit. Like, once they finally got in the ring in WCW, who gave a fuck? And it was convoluted and stupid.
Yeah.
This is them fresh, and I think it would be great.
Face Bret Hart versus face Hulk Hogan, red and yellow
Yeah.
versus pink and black. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
And
goes over?
yeah, I mean, really the build of the match, you just have kind of barbs back and forth, because at this
It's the
time with
dream
these
match.
two guys, yeah, it's you don't necessarily have to even build a story, other than
it doesn't even.
Bret could come out and be like, "You took my title at WrestleMania 9 with not even being able to be in the main event."
Like, I gave
you
you that opportunity with the intentions that you were going to give me an opportunity.
right, and then you
Mhm.
wouldn't. You wouldn't put me over.
I wouldn't even go put me over. I'd be like, you didn't even want to step in the ring with me.
Right.
You think
Yeah,
I was
it
at your
doesn't-
level.
It doesn't need. This isn't like a stanky heat feud or anything like that.
No.
It's just Brett saying, Hogan, you know that I'm better than you, and you didn't want anything to do with me. And Hogan being like, you know what, Brett? You only became what you became after I left.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it would be two guys saying that since I wasn't around, like Hogan basically saying, since I wasn't around, you became the star.
You were a paper champion.
And Brett saying, you took my opportunity. You never gave me a chance back because you knew I could beat you.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, who goes over in this?
Who goes over?
Brett.
Yes. Has to.
And I would actually have Bret Hart get the sharpshooter on Hulk Hogan and have him submit, because how many times in 90, like from 83 to 95, Hogan had been pinned.
He never tapped. The only time
he never submitted.
Hogan only tapped to Brock Lesnar on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And even then,
that happened in like
out.
2000, whatever.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like from 83 to 95, nobody ever made Hulk Hogan give up. So now, if you want to go again with it, you can have Bret Hart be like, I made Hulk Hogan give up.
Right.
Now, do you have Hogan shake his hand after the match?
No.
No. Because that gives
Hogan
Hogan
leaves.
satisfaction. Right. Hogan leaves. That could even be the birth of NWO Hogan. Brett threw him over the edge.
Point.
You know?
Well, there you have it. Aaron's Supercard from 1995.
Aaron, I would give your show an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it.
I give your show a 9.
The dud kind of threw me off with Lawler and Sting. I think Sting could have been used better somewhere else.
I give your show a 9 out of 100.
There you go.
9 out of 10, brother. That was good. I liked it. I'm definitely flopping down.
Oh,
my
I
money
enjoyed
for
it.
that.
Oh yeah, I'm buying it all day long.
Well, that being said, good card, and we are going to take our first break.
You'd buy it, Archie?
Yeah.
Good, because my pay-per-view is $99.
Jesus.
Do I get a shirt with that or no?
No, you have to
You get one of those. You get one of those fucking dog tags that they tried to pass off as something cool in the '90s.
Well, fucking flag.
It's a picture of Aaron on the dog tag like this.
Thumbs
You get a
up.
ride home from Bagwell.
We will take our first break of the show, and when we return, we will have Kyle's card from 2003. We will be back on the latest Dream Card edition of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. We'll be right back after this. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the latest edition of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. We are doing our dream cards, and Kyle
in memory of Puppet.
And yes, in memory of Puppet the Midget. And Kyle Army is up next, and he got the year 2003.
Hold on there, Nate.
What?
We got to do our shameless plugs.
Oh, shameless plug.
It is the first. It's the first break of the show.
Yeah.
Shameless plug number 1. This weekend, as you are listening to this show, there is another show launching, the latest edition, or the latest addition to the family of podcasts here, along with the Asylum Wrestling podcast, the Motley Soup podcast, the Criminal Wind podcast, the We Can't Wrestle podcast, and now we welcome the 2300 pod to the family, as we will relive ECW. The first episode will be out this weekend. Check it out. It'll be available on Podbean and any other source as this show is. you will be able, obviously, to find it in the We Can't Wrestle podcast group and the page and the Asylum and World Championship Customs. But it is going to be a fantastic show. And nice preview.
The Chad Austin Customs are done.
Awesome.
And not only do you get to relive ECW, one of my favorite companies, my favorite times, but you get to relive with the guy who was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Chad Austin.
Yes. And we start from the very beginning. This episode is the episode from April 6, 1993. Lots of great conversation with Chad, and we talk about some of the weird, unusual characters that were there at the beginning
Stevie
of ECW.
Wonderful.
Stevie Wonderful, the Cosmic Commander. Lots
Nobody
of
has
good
any
shit.
fucking idea who Stevie
Yeah,
Wonderful
not a one of us on the entire show knows, even Chad, knows anything about what the
Like-
history or
like
the
my
career
main
of Stevie
note was
Wonderful.
Chad, who was Stevie Wonderful? And before I even brought it up, Chad was like, "Who the fuck was Stevie Wonderful?"
So there you go. It's going to be a fantastic journey. And theoretically, the podcast could last, 7-8 years? Because we are going week to week through the history of ECW. And I think it's going to be great. And you will definitely hear some Kyle on there. You'll definitely hear some Archie on there.
Nate,
we're not going to leave these guys out. Yes, sir.
At that time, the Sandman was doing a surfer gimmick. Am I right?
Yeah, we discussed that on the show as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was in a bodysuit and he had a boogie board.
Mm-hmm.
And it was bad. I mean,
Like bad ass.
No. The Sandman is badass. The Sandman as a beach gimmick was bad.
Oh, fuck.
And of course, we would be remiss if we did not mention the Asylum.
No, I'm just kidding.
And of course, World Championship Customs. The Asylum actually, possibly, by the time this show airs,
right?
No.
The day this show aired. This is going to air Sunday.
This episode, since we're recording on Thursday, will probably be up on Saturday. So
okay. So as you're listening to this, go over to the Asylum because we were supposed to be having the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, but unforeseen reasons, Ted had to cancel on us. We wish him well though, and we hope that he's doing okay. He's in our prayers.
absolutely,
His replacement, though, you maggots,
you puke, you scum.
the legendary former WWF World Heavyweight Champion Sergeant Slaughter,
Yes.
is going to take his spot.
That's a hell of a guest in the virtual asylum.
Yep.
Hell of a guest.
So
I'm sad not to see dead DiBiase, but Sergeant Slaughter is. Whoa,
oh yeah,
what a get.
oh yeah.
When you're talking about the Asylum, it is delivery. And Rocky and David Gold and Nick Francis and the rest of us are going to deliver for you. If we can't
Every
get the
time.
$1 Million Man, I mean, could you get a better replacement than Sergeant Slaughter?
No, sir.
You know?
Yeah.
And I have to say this, and I know I always sound like the old coot, the old goat, but there was a conversation in the Asylum about Slaughter when it was announced, and a lot of guys were talking about, oh, I loved it when he had that boot camp match with Triple H and blah, blah, blah. You know what? You look at Sergeant Slaughter's career, and if I was talking to Sarge today, the first thing I would want to talk to him about would be Sergeant Slaughter and Pat Patterson in Madison Square Garden, because that is one of the great brawls of all time. Of all time.
Patterson just spewing blood, Sarge chasing after him.
Yes.
You know.
And again, I'm a huge fan of the Hogan Slaughter feud from '91 because that's my prime era. You know, I was 13 years old when that happened. That was magic to me.
I would ask him about WrestleMania 17, the Gimmick Battle Royal.
Mm-hmm.
What it was like to walk out in front of all those fans at that time.
Pop.
Getting the pop and to see how far the company had come.
Yep.
And if you get in the virtual asylum and you be a part of that, you could ask these questions of the legendary WWE Hall of Famer, Sergeant Slaughter.
And again, I want to say, go to www.theasylumswrestlingstore.com.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And there is a lot of pre-orders up there, guys. They have the Hollywood Hogan and Bray Wyatt Fiend Ultimate Edition.
Yep.
Right now for pre-order. I don't think anybody else has them right now.
And
Nope.
if you shop at the asylumwrestlingstore.com and not RSC or Amazon or anywhere else, you will know, first of all, I can attribute to this, and Archie can too, and Kyle
Yep.
can, and Aaron can. You're gonna get
Properly packed.
exactly. It's gonna be packed with
Handled
care.
with care.
It's gonna be shipped in a timely manner.
Yep.
You're gonna get taken care of. The best customer service you'll be able to get.
You're
I
buying
sounded
from
like-
collectors for collectors.
I sounded
Yes.
like the mailman from Chuck and Larry. Deliveries on time. Deliveries in the rear. I even deliver at night. It was just like, I really sounded bad, but
And
no.
and what's awesome about that, if you go to the asylumwrestlingstore.com, you can also get your tickets to see Sergeant Slaughter.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Along with some other great stuff. There's Wrestling Buddies. There's a lot of great stuff on that site, guys. So
If
And
you're
s-
not a fan of Slaughter, by just some odd chance, if you're an alien from another planet, we've got Sid Vicious next week on the 19th. If you don't
Mhm.
like that, we've got other names coming up. Axel
Absolutely.
Douglas returning, Buff Bagwell, Diesel, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall. You know,
And two more. Oh, go ahead, Kyle.
and the great thing about it is these guys take care. If you have anything that you want signed,
yep.
all you got to do is ship it to these guys. They take care of everything for no extra fee.
Mhm.
They're taking care of everything for you guys. I mean, if that's not customer service, I don't know what is.
And Sid will
one-
take any of your questions.
No, there's a couple things off limits.
Just
We-
throw him some softballs in.
We
It'll
can't
be all right.
we can't mention we can't mention an enforcer and some scissors.
Nate got that. Nate got that.
Oh, I got the
Softball.
softball game.
I got the softball. I got it. We got it.
You might be pulling his leg.
Hey-o.
No, we cannot mention a certain enforcer and a pair of scissors.
That's what I want to ask him. Is when he
Yeah.
broke his fucking leg and
I was just about to say let's make a clean break from that and go on to
Nice
Kyle's-
segue, Nick.
Kyle. Thank you.
Nate.
The
I
king
like,
of the
I like
right
softball
here. I need to get a
questions.
segue and ride around on it and be like, I'm the king of the segue. All right, so
What's
Kyle,
another new shirt?
yes, sir.
2003. Give us our best card that you could possibly give us from the year 2003.
It's a stack
And
one, guys.
if it's not Billy and Chuck in every match, I'm going to be very upset.
Well, unfortunately, Billy and Chuck didn't make it on this show.
Damn it!
They're
Oh.
on heat.
Aw.
On heat.
All right. I'll
They're just-
watch
they're
Heat
just-
on the.
There wasn't a place for them on this, guys.
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So, all right. So the first match, our opening contest to get the fans and everyone into it, is a match about the future. It is Randy Orton has come out and said, "I have beaten them all. I have beaten the legends. It's time I start beating the guys that think they're going to be legends." It's John Cena versus Randy Orton.
Nice.
Which in this time frame would have been. I mean, imagine the promos that Cena would have been able to cut on Randy in
Oh,
this
yeah.
time without the
Oh,
with
yeah.
without the shackles and Randy just being disgusted by this
Mhm.
this Eminem wannabe. And they're both great performers, and they would have at that time in their youth they would have had a fantastic match.
Oh yeah.
It's a great way to start the match because you have Randy Orton, who is the chosen child, versus John
Mhm.
Cena, who is the Doctor of Thugonomics. And you can tell at this time, both of them are destined for stardom.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
Yep.
the two of them come together. And you know what? I'm going to say, coming out of this, I'm going to have Randy Orton go over.
That's not a bad idea because really.
No. Well,
Cena
I mean,
was on-
you've got a lot of future for them to trade wins back and forth.
And at this time, Cena was losing to guys like Carlito, and it wasn't hurting him. So why would a loss to Randy Orton hurt him?
Right.
Exactly.
You know. So
At this time, I don't want to say Randy Orton was still the jury was out on him, but as far as he's stuck in Evolution, he has yet to, really step out on his own. So this is the perfect time for Randy Orton to solidify his name. Because
definitely.
John Cena could come out, next week and be like, "Hey,
Right.
chucka what," and play it off.
Right.
So, you know.
And Orton going over gets him the proper heat going forward too.
Exactly. I'm
You know?
a heat guy.
Right,
I'm like
I am
Kevin
too.
Sullivan. I believe in the heels getting the upper hand. Because again, like I said, if you're not planning for tomorrow, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
Exactly. Build for the future in the present, which is something WWE has severely lacked doing in the past few years. And
Exactly.
but now, yeah, what you're saying there, if we're talking 2003,
Oh, yeah.
this would just be the beginning for these two. And I think, like you said, a heel Randy Orton going over at this time is the best way to establish both of these characters. Because
Definitely.
Cena loses nothing, and Orton is nothing but upside.
Right.
Aaron?
I agree with it.
Perfect. All right. So moving on, we go to our first tag
Dynamite drop in, Donnie.
Yeah. We go to our first tag team match of the evening. It is Kane and RVD versus Booker T and Goldust.
Wow.
Two forgotten and underrated tag teams.
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
sir. This is your fun for the evening.
I'm not
Booker
trying
and
to-
Goldust is, or was, I should say, fucking fantastic.
Yep.
Like, anytime anybody says, oh, there shouldn't be comedy in wrestling.
No, that was comedy done right.
Be like, no, shut the fuck up. There should be not you, Arch. I'm saying,
Right.
like,
No, I know what
people
you're
are like,
saying.
oh, comedy shouldn't be in wrestling. No, it should be, as long as it's done properly. And Goldust and Booker T did it properly.
Yep.
And
I agree.
those guys together were great. And RVD and Kane, when you say it, doesn't sound like it should be any good. But it was really, really fucking good.
It was very good. Of course, Booker T and Goldust are going over because there's already dissension between Kane and RVD as it stands.
Right.
Because we're going to go into Kane being, the unmasked, killer or whatever.
You mean when he went into necrophilia, or rather,
Yeah.
that's what they said that he was doing.
Yeah. Plus, like I said, it's Booker T and Goldust.
Right.
Their stock only rises.
Well, and this is one card, and you have to have those matches on the card that send the people home happy and give them a feel-good moment. And Goldust and Booker would technically, in this match, if you look at the match on paper, would be an upset. And it's a good, fun upset for the crowd. So it totally makes sense.
I imagine Goldust trying to do the spinaroonie at the end of the match.
Oh, yeah.
And
spoiler alerts, the crowd's going to go home with an indecision, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So next, we have Paul Heyman coming out weeks before saying that Brock Lesnar is the next big thing. He is the man. He is everything that WWF, WWE is afraid of. But we have Ric Flair saying no. We have Batista. So it's Brock Lesnar versus Batista. It is our big Haas match of the evening.
I like it. The Big Haas match.
I like it.
That would be really clunky in 2003.
It would be clunky. But again, it's selling the pay-per-view.
You know what I think would be a great touch to this match?
Yes.
And frankly, who gives a shit? We're booking our own stuff here. I think it would be great to have on commentary as just a special guest commentary on this match. I think it would be great to get Jim Cornette in on this.
Yes.
Let him do some commentary and provide some
well, he has the knowledge on both
OVW. Some of the OVW history and these guys came through the same class, and he could even refer back to, and by the way, Orton and Cena came through that class and blah blah blah. So yeah, I mean, because this was the year 2003 was the year that the OVW guys started coming in. Those last really amazing class of OVW guys started coming into the forefront.
Shelton and Charlie Haas and all those guys.
Yep.
And then in 8 months, you could have the rematch because Batista blew his quad or whatever.
Right.
Right. I'm going to have Brock Lesnar going over because he is the next big thing.
I agree with it.
Batista doesn't really lose much because he's still new.
Right.
It's the battle of who's the next big guy. These are the beasts that are coming out.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a clean win for Brock. Heyman
No.
can get involved, or Flair could cause a distraction by mistake. You know what I mean? There are assets that go along with this.
And that's why I have Paul Heyman and Ric Flair in there, because the two of them are going to get involved, and you're going to get a fucked finish.
And like Aaron said, no disrespect to the performers, but at this time, as they're coming into their own, it's probably going to be a little clunky.
Right.
So having some distractions with Heyman and Flair at ringside is a good thing for this match.
And like I said, I'm not knocking the match, and I'm not knocking the guys. And honestly, and I know I made the joke about Batista like blowing his quad or getting hurt or whatever, but honestly, Batista was a fucking injury-prone dude.
Yeah, he was injury prone even in his main event years.
Yeah, what I was going to say was, you take the two guys, and you guys might disagree with me, I don't know, but hindsight being like, okay, let's look at Brock and let's look at Batista, and if you guys want to tell me I'm wrong, that's fine. Batista, actually, if you look at Brock Lesnar and Batista is a better worker than Brock Lesnar.
Well,
to a
certain extent, yeah.
In my opinion, Batista's a better professional wrestler than Brock Lesnar.
Right. I'll give you that.
Nate looks like he disagrees.
I do.
Brock,
I do. I kind of know what you're saying. I think I know where you're going. I think that overall, Batista probably in his career sold better.
I just mean just in general, like Brock. And Nate, you know this. I'm a huge Brock Lesnar fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Brock Lesnar. But if you're going to tell me, okay, guys, we're going to have one match. We can have Shawn Michaels versus Batista. We're going to have Shawn Michaels versus Brock Lesnar. And it's going to be a wrestling match. I'm going to say I want to watch Shawn Michaels wrestle Batista.
Well,
but if you tell me I want to watch a spectacle, and you're going to have Shawn Michaels versus Brock Lesnar or Shawn Michaels versus Batista, I'm going to say, let's go with Brock Lesnar, because Brock Lesnar's just going to guzzle the guy up.
I would agree with you from 2012 on.
Like I'd rather watch Batista have a 25-minute match than Brock have a 25-minute match.
I disagree.
No, at that
because
point, I'm doing
in
crazy things with Benoit and Angle.
I'm in the I was about to say I'm in the mindset of I would agree with you if I was talking about Brock from 2012 on, but I would put Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle up against anything Batista ever did ever. And I'm not shitting on your opinion either. I'm just saying I think we just part ways on this.
I'm shitting on his opinion. No, I'm just kidding.
Shit away, big man. I don't care. I'm just saying.
Kyle shitting in the yard, for God's sake.
So going into this pay-per-view, we got three, I don't want to say main events, but three major attractions that are selling this show, because at the end of the day, that is what this is. It is, we are trying to sell this show. Right. All right. So we have a match that was wonderful at WrestleMania 19. It is Hulk Hogan versus Mr. McMahon.
You can't go wrong.
This time, Roddy Piper is the special guest referee. He hates both of them so much. Whose side is he gonna? Who's he gonna count?
Is he wearing a trench coat and a fedora?
No.
I can even hear him saying, "Whose side is Roddy Piper on?" Roddy Piper's side. Yeah.
Right. Mr. McMahon goes over.
Because Piper turns on Hogan?
Yes, because he sits there and says, you know what? Because this will be the next night on Raw, but he'll be like, look, I hate Mr. McMahon. I hate Vince with all my passion, but he signs my paychecks, and I hate Hulk Hogan that much more.
And that makes sense. In Piper's world, that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And McMahon and Hogan, I mean, there's your sports entertainment match right there.
Exactly.
You know, that's your that's your bells and whistles sports entertainment match.
Because think about it, who would be a better opponent for Hulk Hogan in 2003 than Mr. McMahon?
Nobody.
There's not. I mean, the Hogan's beaten everybody and done everything he could do. This is the only thing that you can really have Hulk Hogan do, and that's where 2003 comes in, because in a little bit we're going to get to another match that it's like, what can you do in 2003 that these guys haven't already done?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah. All right. Moving on.
Who goes over?
Huh?
He
Who
said
goes
McMahon.
over?
McMahon goes over.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that.
No, that's fine. Yeah, because Piper's like, I hate McMahon, but I hate
Right.
Hogan that much more. And
I like it.
then still signs my paychecks. So,
Right.
you know. So next we have two of my favorite incarnations of wrestlers. We have The Rock in his 2003 Hollywood, I Am a Big Star.
Yeah.
Versus the man who is WWE, WWF through and through, The Undertaker.
And at this point, we've got, this is American Badass Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to do, there's not a lot of the, what I want to say, the smoke and mirrors, the fog, so you can really, you can have some good promos here.
This is where Undertaker's going to come out and say, like WWF made you, and you left to go to Hollywood. You think you're a better star? You think you're bigger than this company?
Can I just say...
You could have Undertaker show up at a movie set and beat the fuck.
Like he did with David Flair in the Performance Center. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like I said, you have the guy who is WWF through and through versus the guy who is, he's a big star. He's The Rock. I love 2003 Rock.
Aaron, he shows up to the movies. He shows up to the movie studio. He goes to beat up The Rock, and he ends up getting his stunt double.
Right. I love this version of The Undertaker where
I do too.
He is the no nonsense.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I understand The Undertaker is what he is.
Oh no, of course. But this was real Undertaker. This was Mark Calloway. This was not The Undertaker. I'm a dead man.
Right.
Like Nate said, there's no smoke and mirrors here. I'm riding down to the ring on my bike.
Yep.
And I'm coming to kick your ass.
Yeah, I love the fact that The Undertaker's be like, listen here, boy, you think that, you're better than me, you think you're better than anybody else that's ever stepped to those ropes.
Yeah, see, it shouldn't even be a you think you're better than me thing. It should
think you're better than this business.
Yeah, you have gone on and you've made these shitty movies.
Right, because he didn't make anything great yet.
And he's never made anything great at all. But you've
on,
done Walking Tall and The Rundown. That's the only good movie.
That Walking Tall movie's good.
Right. That's what I said. I just said Walking Tall and The Rundown are like the good rock movies. That's it. But anyway.
I like the game plan, but okay.
Taker could be like almost, and it might not be the way that Rock would think of it either, but I would almost take it like Taker is offended.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That Rock took the professional wrestling business and then turned it into a movie. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
I
agree.
Oh, now you're this big Hollywood star.
Right.
And you're just going to be like, fuck it, whatever with this wrestling business. It's like, you know what? You wouldn't be where the fuck you are right now if it wasn't for guys like me and guys like
Triple H,
Austin, Triple H. And you could even go further than that. It's like you wouldn't be who you are right now, and this might be a deep cut, But I even be like, you know what, you would, and I know it turned out his dad was a piece of shit. You can be like, you know what, you even wouldn't be what you are now if it wasn't for your fucking family and everything that they did.
Right.
You know, you're nothing without us, and you've now turned your back on us.
And 2003 Rock would be perfect to react to that.
Oh yeah.
And because he wouldn't have to. That version of that character would not in any way have to humble himself to those comments, because he's in the air up here anyway. I don't care what you have to say, Undertaker.
Right.
Now, if we're talking about this, Kyle,
Yes,
at the end of this, you better be putting Taker over.
I am putting Taker over.
All right.
Yeah, it has to be.
Taker over.
It has to be.
However, The Rock is going to continue to come out and say, like, oh, well, you know, like, I wasn't ready. I wasn't, you know, at my full best, because we're going to continue this feud.
What I want to say really quick.
Kyle looks like a floating head right now.
He's Zombie from Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse.
Pee Wee's Playhouse.
The one thing I was going to say really quick before we move on about, and this has nothing to do with your match, which I think is an awesome pick, by the way. That would be an awesome, especially in 03.
Definitely.
One of my favorite things with Rock during this time is, that's just the Hamburglar. I love the little sub feud with Hurricane. Like I just like that was all. Anyway, that's just a side note.
When he looks at Hogan, he's like, "You're gonna call the Rock? You're gonna call
a jabroni?
If you've never seen the off-the-air thing between The Rock and Stone Cold going into WrestleMania 19,
watch it.
Oh, it's so fucking
It's gold.
good. Oh,
it is gold.
Good.
Absolutely.
This really pisses me off. This guy sits here and says the Scorpion King movie sucked.
It did suck.
All right, so now we have our. This is our high-flying, big spot moments of the evening. It is because it always will sell tickets. It always draws. It is the Hardys versus the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian TLC match.
I have the Hardys and the Dudleys on my card as well. No Edge and Christian, but
Hardys, Dudleys, Hardys, Dudleys, Edge and Christian. You don't go wrong there.
No.
I mean,
it's that match that you know it's going to draw.
Do you know what these matches are? These matches are what if and sorry guys, the grumpy old man Nate.
If current product used logic, it would be these fucking matches.
Yes, these matches were what if these god awful spot monkeys that put on a pay-per-view where every single match is one of these. That's the difference. That's
what was there 4 TLC matches over the span of 8 years?
Yeah.
You know
Now, I mean, that god awful AEW pay-per-view last weekend, which was just, I mean, it was. Let's be honest, that was one of the worst pay-per-views ever. That pay-per-view fucking sucked. That show
TV shows better than that pay-per-view. I'm gonna be honest.
That show sucked. And what happened to actually one of the guys that's in this match you've booked, Kyle, because of over the top stupid. Yep. Anyway. I'm not. I'm going to get off of that because it's not our topic tonight or anything. But yes, absolutely. This
join us tomorrow after SmackDown for 60 minutes or less, and you can hear Nate Maxon flip out about this if Nate will join us.
It's this is, and it's one of those things where it's almost like you loved it and you knew how good it was. But if you were able to walk 17 years in the future, you might ask them not to do it because of what they're about to start.
Oh yeah,
going over because it's 2003, and we are basically seeing Jeff and Matt and Edge and Christian branch out on their own. The Dudleys are the ones who are going to win this.
I don't blame you because the Dudleys at this point in 2003. Were already a decorated tag team.
Yep. And
You've had the alliance. You've had all this momentum. Why wouldn't they go over?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you need strong tag teams to go up against guys like Kane and RVD, Booker T and Goldust, and and a couple tag teams we're going to get into in a little bit here. But like I said, with Edge and Christian and the Hardys kind of breaking off into their own, because Matt's going to do the version 1, and you're going to have Edge and Christian kind of breaking off on their own. Dudleys are the ones who kind of come out on this, the winners.
Absolutely.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit.
Like you've mentioned a couple of times, this is 2003 is a year where literally you're building the future.
Yep.
It's one of those transitional years in wrestling where you're building the future of the business.
Yep.
So it's very important.
Next is one of our feature matches that is drawing the crowd. It's not going to go very long because these guys in 2003 can't really go very long, and it doesn't need to go long.
Is it Pat Patterson and Jerry Briscoe?
No, no. It is Goldberg versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. And the match goes like this. Goldberg goes for the spear. Austin ducks it, hits a stunner. 1, 2, 3. It's done.
Wow. So like a minute and a half, you're saying,
exactly.
With entrances. Wow.
Because it doesn't need to be anything more than
I know.
Because we have two great main events that are gonna supersede this. And honestly, what are you gonna do? Do you expect it to go any other way? Goldberg can't really go more than maybe 2 minutes. Austin is in such a fuck state that,
Right.
And it's the finish that everybody wants to see. Everybody wants to see Steve Austin stop Goldberg.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And it's the nostalgia factor.
Exactly.
You're hearing the glass break one last time. You're seeing Goldberg at it. He's in WWE anyway, so,
And you're right there, Kyle, in that as super popular as both of these guys were in the late 90s, does anybody really want to see... Was there anybody other than maybe his family that would want to see Goldberg be the guy to go over in this match?
No.
His family didn't want to.
That's not hating on Goldberg. But at the end of the day, Steve Austin needs to go over when Goldberg.
Nate, I got news for you. If you noticed when Goldberg went over Lesnar a couple of years ago, his son was like 12. So Goldberg's son wasn't even born by this time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he wasn't showing off for his kid.
This is nothing more than you are getting the photo op of Steve Austin giving the stunner to Goldberg.
Right.
It's the two
in an
guys.
Actual match.
It's not about that. Like I said, we have two matches that are going to give you everything, all your money in the next two matches. So, like I said, this is just for show. It's fun. It is what it is, and we're moving on because, like I said, in 2003, how the hell do you expect them? Even in '98. Did you really think that Steve Austin and Goldberg were going to have a 20-minute classic?
Right.
No. It ain't happening. No. I hate to break anybody's hearts. All right, so now we move on to two great tag teams. This is for our purists. The next two matches basically are for our wrestling purists. We have the Los Guerreros taking on the world's greatest tag team.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Every time I've ever seen them fight, it was a great match, so I like it.
Because how can you not have a tag team that's up and coming versus the Guerreros?
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And you know what? I'm gonna say.
It sounded like Billy Gunn was coming out for a minute. I'm an ass man.
Please welcome to the podcast Billy Gunn to refute Kyle's notion that they would be on heat.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, in an upset, the world's greatest tag team beat Los Guerreros.
I have no problem with that because at this point, Haas and Benjamin had already left Angle. Yep. And were coming into their own as a tag team. I always liked Haas and Benjamin. And Los Guerreros were a great team that even if they did take a loss, it wouldn't have hurt them.
No, and Eddie's going on to better things. Chava's going
on
to better things.
Right.
The
Los Guerreros, honestly, like, not to get not to get off on a tangent. I shouldn't say a tangent, but like a memory thing for me is those two together are honestly the last like really good vignettes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
The pool cleaning.
oh man, when they go to that old lady's house and they want to use her pool so they can fuck some white bitches, but they don't want her to know that, and they're just like, we're here to fix your pool. You gotta. And Eddie's like, your pool has a leak in it. You don't want your pool getting all filled with water now. You know that's funny shit.
Eddie's already wearing a floaty. Like
Yeah.
You don't want your pool to spring a leak and get all water in it and whatever. It's fucking great, man. And like when they're on the golf course and like, oh man, those fucking.
That was a preview to Kerwin White.
And see, I even like Kerwin White. People knock Kerwin White. Kerwin White could have been really cool. And like I think, and I understand why it ended. And unfortunately, it ended because Eddie passed away. But that Kerwin White character, had legs, man. That would have been. That would have been. I think that would have been insane.
His tagline though was just so bad, even for the time. If it ain't white, it ain't right.
I'm saying, man, that was good.
Like, damn. Yeah, I know, but it was just so bad, too. You know, and Kyle, you mentioned Eddie going on to bigger and better things. Maybe Dominic on a pole wasn't the best thing, but
Archie.
With that.
Archie.
Yes.
We're getting off Kyle's card here, but okay. Dominic on a pole, maybe.
Well, in fairness,
custody. Dominic wasn't on the pole.
No,
but
the custody on a pole.
The custody of Dominic on a pole was kind of a silly premise, but let's be honest, we just came out of the Attitude Era, so that's actually a little mild.
No, I get
However,
that.
I've stated this on the show before.
I wouldn't mind seeing Dominic's sister on a pole, or not Dominic's sister, Eddie Guerrero's daughter on a pole.
And some people, I know some people disagree with me because they will cite, and I'm a huge Shawn Michaels fan, I'm a huge Scott Hall fan, but that match at that SummerSlam, regardless of the stip, that's my favorite ladder match ever. Mm-hmm. Those two light it up in that match.
I agree. I was joking with Kyle because the premise of the match was like,
that was kind of silly.
Eddie and Ray have been wrestling each other at this point for 20 years. Did you really need to put Dominic Mysterio on a pole?
Right.
You know what I mean? Those two would cough near each other and a fight would break out. You know what I mean? It was like, what, you want to fight? You know? Right. But now, no, I like this match, Kyle, a lot.
Thank you. Moving on to our semi-main event. It is three of the best technicians. I know we're not big fans of triple threats, but these guys...
I had one on my card, and Aaron had one on his, so it's no big deal.
These guys, It is Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit versus Chris Jericho.
Jesus.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I was a little nervous for a minute because Kyle was like, on this card, they fuck.
But, I mean, you have three of the best technicians. All three of them have great finishing submission holds. All three of them are amazing in-ring competitors.
Spoiler alert, I too have Jericho and Benoit in a triple threat match on my card. So
these three guys are made for each other.
Yep.
They are Angle is going over just because it's Kurt fucking Angle.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Benoit and Jericho again are going on to much better things.
Yes.
They don't need to, come out of this victorious. And again, it's one of those matches where even if Angle wins, Benoit and Jericho don't lose anything.
No, they don't lose anything.
No, they're losing to the better wrestler.
And literally, you're not going to have less than, and if you're using the star system, these three guys in the ring, you're literally never, ever, ever, ever going to have less than a 4.5 star match.
Yep, there it is right there.
Nope. And your crowd's going to pop, and everything's going to be sweet. And we're sorry, Kurt, that you had to lose your last match to Baron Corbin. Anyway.
Nate, can you imagine?
This is before Kurt looked like a
penis
backwards lawn chair.
Nate, can you imagine? Jericho puts on the Lion Tamer, Benoit sneaks over and puts on the crossface, and Angle is doing all he can not to tap out. You know what I mean?
What a spot, you know?
Right.
And he just happens to be too close to the ropes and can grab him.
Right.
And, yeah, I mean, and that's something those guys would do, and you would eat up every second of it.
Yep. Absolutely. There's no way this match doesn't take match of the night.
Oh, yeah.
Now, like I said, now we're getting to our main event. And I struggled with this because I was like, after everything we've seen tonight, what could main event this show? And the only thing I could think of in 2003 at this time is Triple H versus Shawn Michaels, Last Man Standing.
As long as you don't give me the Triple H Shawn Michaels Last Man Standing 2003 finish, I'm good with it. I'm sorry, not 2003, 2004 finish.
See, what I'm worried about is that Kyle said that his show was going to end with a fucked finish.
Yep.
Hold on.
And now I'm mad.
Let me.
Sorry, Kyle. If I'm a fan and I'm watching your show, I've enjoyed it so far. But if you're gonna leave me with either one of these guys not getting up, I'm mad.
Let him
tell the story. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
So, we have Shawn Michaels versus Triple H. It's Last Man Standing. Leading up to this, we have the Triple H line of, like, even if I beat myself or if I beat you to my feet, for 1 second, that means I'm better than you. Okay? These guys go fucking 40, 50 minutes. They are beating the fuck out of each other, giving everything they possibly can. Okay. We get to the end. And yes, I know you guys hate the fact of a fuck finish. But seriously, name me a better moment than seeing Shawn Michaels and Triple H covered in blood after 50 minutes of fighting each other, doing everything they could possibly do to put each other out, laying both in the pool of their own blood and getting to a 10 count and being like, these guys just gave you everything they had.
So they're both out for the 10.
Yes, they're both out for 10. But they're both out for 10. Hold on, let me finish. Both out of 10. But they have fought for 50 minutes. They are both covered in blood. They're both wearing the proverbial crimson mask. Jesus. The proverbial crimson mask.
Botch.
Okay? Yes. Imagine that crowd. Imagine that crowd sitting there seeing Shawn Michaels and Triple H after 50 minutes of fighting each other, doing everything they can all through the arena to be laying in a pool of their own blood.
Can I tell you this, Kyle?
Yes.
What I would do with your card, buddy?
Yes.
I'm not saying that idea of the match isn't terrible, okay? But what I would do is I would have that match, all right, that you want to do, but then I would take that match and your Steve Austin Goldberg match and fucking flip them.
Okay.
Wow.
I would have that Last Man Standing, these guys both bloody, not being able to get up, where you had Austin and Goldberg, and then in your main event, have Austin and Goldberg, and then do that minute and 25 minute, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The minute and 25-second match with Austin stepping out from the spear and hitting the stunner. And then what you're doing is you got the Austin Goldberg match out there as the way to end your pay-per-view on a fucking good note. As like people being like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. You know, instead of people being like, well, nobody won.
Right. Now, I'm going to give you my reasoning for this. Again, I am booking for the future. I'm booking for the fact that next month we're going to have.
I understand that you're booking for the future,
but we're
but
going to.
What I'm saying is you're ending your show on a flat note.
But there's been many times the shows have ended with
This is true.
Not getting what you want,
and they always sucked.
It depends on the next night on Raw.
Right. The next night on Raw, you have Shawn Michaels and Triple H coming out with.
I know,
but and you have Eric Bischoff or whoever saying like, you know what, this has to fucking stop because you guys tore the fucking arena down, like you guys endangered fans. You guys, you know, we're gonna put you two in the fucking Hell in the Cell, one fall to the finish. It is whoever walks out of that cell is the winner of this thing because this needs to stop.
And like I said, the match itself and the idea for it wasn't bad. I'm just saying I would have flipped those two matches.
Right.
Still a good card though. Still a good show. I enjoyed it.
That's your Sting Lawler match, buddy. And you ended with it.
But see, that's why I gave you like Undertaker versus Rock and Goldberg versus Steve Austin and Booker. Like you had stuff throughout the show that's like, oh, that was great. Knowing that, like, hey, guess what, guys? We're coming to
we're gonna ruin your orgasm. That's okay.
But see, that's the thing, though. Again, it's not ruining your orgasm because, again, I want you to buy one. Well, no, I want you to watch Monday Night Raw the next night to figure out what the fuck. Like here, you had again. There's no title on the line.
I want you to give me $99 from the next pay-per-view.
But I gave you $99 for your show.
But seriously,
I want you to give me $99 for the next pay-per-view.
But how many times have we watched a pay-per-view where?
And honestly, let me say this too. And I'm not trying to shoot holes in your shit, Kyle.
No,
I'm just saying my thing. If Shawn Michaels and Triple H are left bloody in the middle of this building and they fought for 50 minutes and there's fucking debris everywhere and they're all jacked the fuck up, why are they going to be on Raw the next night?
Because it's pro
wrestling.
These
guys shouldn't be there.
Fine, then don't have them
then
be
there
there.
Be a satellite. There could be a satellite then.
It doesn't. But the point is that here's the thing: is that you come out of this match at the end of the night going, like fuck, like Shawn and Triple H are fucking evenly matched. Like how the fuck is this going to end? Because they know each other better. Like let me ask you this question, okay? Like how else do you expect this match to end? If Shawn and Triple H know each other better than everybody else.
What I'm telling you is...
No, I get it.
I don't think the finish of your match is bad. I don't like the finish of your pay-per-view.
And I get that. But the problem is, if you switch that for Goldberg and Stone Cold, then people are going to be mad because, like, oh, fuck, you only gave us a 2-minute main event.
But you sent...
You said Austin and Goldberg was the feel-good moment everybody wanted. So
the show ended with people cheering.
But the fact is that, happy. But again, and I state this, that not every show has to make you feel fucking warm and fuzzy at the end. Not everybody gets a fucking participation trophy. At the end of the day, sometimes it is what it is.
But on pay-per-view, you should have at the end of your show.
Now hold on a second.
Pay-per-view,
no, there have been many pay-per-views. There was not an ending.
Bash at the Beach 1996. We had Hulk Hogan turning a heel.
There was a finish.
There might have been
a winner
finish.
And there was a loser. There was a winner and there was a loser.
Okay. What about all the Austin matches that Austin fought and there was some fucked finish that fucked him out of the pit?
There was a finish. There was a winner and there was a loser.
And this
At
is a
the
finish.
end of a pay-per-view,
Both men.
there should be a winner and there should be a loser.
And this is a finish. Both men at the end of the night.
It
could
is not a finish. It's a you
more.
said it's a non-finish.
But a non-finish
nobody
is a finish.
won this match.
Right,
At
because
the
both
end of
men,
a pay-per-view, there should be a winner and there should be a loser.
but that is subjective to you.
I just
On
want
a
to say
TV show,
I'm not giving this away.
you can
on a
have
TV show.
a non-finish. But
I
on a
just-
pay-per-view, if I'm giving you $37, I want somebody to win.
Wait, we don't
And I
know
want
how much
some-
Kyle is charging.
That's how much I'm going to pay him. I'll give you $37 for this pay-per-view.
Pay
There
Kyle
needs to
right
be a
now.
winner.
Pay Kyle right now.
And there needs to be a loser.
Name me one other match on this show that had a fucked finish.
None of them.
Exactly.
So
I gave
put
you
this one
great moments. I gave you
second to the end and let him finish with Steve Austin being happy, chugging beers, and your crowd going, fuck yeah.
But see, that's the problem.
Instead
Again,
of your crowd going,
But see, that's the problem, though. Again, if I put Goldberg and Steve Austin on last, then people are going to be mad because it is a fucking 1 minute main event.
no, they won't.
The fact
Because
is,
it's Steve Austin. They're going to be fucking perfectly fine with it.
all I know is to me, the finish of having two guys who fucking know each other better than anybody else coming to a fact where they have given you everything they fucking have. We're not talking about a 5 minute fucking, 5 minutes and they're all done and they went through a fucking, staging area or whatever. No, these two guys are fucking bleeding. They have bled the fuck out.
I
They have
understand.
given you everything they
premise.
possibly can give you.
I understand your premise. And I'm telling you, your show is good. But I'm telling you, the arranging of your matches is not.
I don't know.
A-
You
Aaron
fans,
is saying that he's going to pay you $37, but he's calling the cable company the next day and saying that it's shut off after the second.
And
match.
what I want to know is that 2003 money or
right. and the fucking pay per view company is going to be like, well, I'll tell you.
We'll give you a credit on your next bill. Don't worry about it, buddy.
Because the fact is that you're going.
You should have ended with Goldberg and Austin.
All right, I'm giving Kyle an 8 out of 10 on his show as well. I didn't agree with the ending, but the whole show was great. I enjoyed it. The ending kind of leaves me wanting a little more, but maybe he's right.
Exactly.
and I also
It leaves you wanting more, which is what pro wrestling is supposed to do.
and Kyle's
On
name is
pay-per-view, though.
Kyle's name is now Cliff. Last name Hanger.
Hanger.
Exactly.
See what I did there?
Exactly. Look,
No. What Kyle's new name is Dusty Finish.
that might be the case. But the fact is that guess what? People are going to tune in tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. They're going to fucking buy that next pay per view because
Your
They're
last
not gonna-
name is spelled PHI.
because if you're building a feud between the two guys. So okay, let me ask you this question. Okay, so if Triple H
I'm
goes
done
over.
talking about it.
I know.
Let's hear about Archie's pay-per-view.
Hold
No,
on.
we're gonna have
Oh,
to take
God.
a break before we hear about
Oh,
Archie's
God.
pay-per-view.
Okay, well, I'm going to
I'm
smoke a
done-
cigarette then. I've
I'm
told you my
talking
comments
about
on this fucking pay-per-view.
But if Shawn
You had a
Michaels goes over,
non-goddamn finish
Then you're gonna be like,
on your
oh, well,
pay-per-view.
oh well, Shawn
And-
Michaels.
and you
Why are you going to have Shawn Michaels fight Triple H again?
Because they didn't have a finish. Okay, so now they didn't have a finish in the middle of your show, and they were both bleeding out. Okay, that's really good. Now, let's go ahead and have a rematch between these guys, and now maybe this will be the conclusion of the feud, and then put that in the main event and put fucking Shawn Michaels over. If you tell me, oh, these guys are going to fight again, I'd be like, neither one of these guys can beat each other. I don't give a fuck.
But it can be if you're told that we're going to have Hell in the Cell. It is two guys enter, one must fucking leave. It does
But
not.
you told
matter.
me one must stand, and neither one of them did.
And guess
And
what?
it ended your show.
Oh,
Because
God.
you found out that both men
And neither one of them did.
Exactly. Because both men are fucking evenly matched. So now we're going into...
Okay, now I don't need to watch your shit. Because now either one of them could fucking win.
So you go ahead and you watch your Jerry Lawler versus Sting match.
Oh, I will watch that shit. Because there was a definitive winner and loser in that goddamn fucking thing.
Wonderful. I guarantee you my pay-per-view sells out more fucking buys than yours does.
And folks,
people are going to be like, "Oh,
folks, Crossfire did not die in 2002."
Wait, hold on though. You are going to have more buy rates. According to Aaron, your pay-per-view is 37. His was 99.
Exactly right.
Because mine was worth it.
And guess what? This isn't a WrestleMania. This isn't a Royal Rumble. This isn't a fucking SummerSlam.
Right. This is Kyle.
No, this is a fucking. This is an all-in.
This is a fucking. Well, it wasn't all in. It was all out, Aaron. Thank you for fucking staying up to date with the fucking modern product. But
I just know when I present something, it's all in, buddy.
That's fine. But the fact is, I'm wanting fucking people. I'm telling people a story. I'm bringing them on a fucking journey. I'm not giving them the great satisfaction right away because I know that if I fucking hold out, the satisfaction they're going to get in the end is even better.
And I want to congratulate Aron and Kyle on the fact that this is the first episode in a long time where we've actually had to take a second break.
Yeah,
I'd like to say
to recoup from this bullshit finish of this shitty pay-per-view.
During this, all right.
I just want
to. It's not a shitty pay-per-view. Everything was really good.
I just want to say, hold on. Kyle's card wrapped up 10 minutes ago. Through the entire 10-minute argument you two have had, Nate and I have just stood here looking at each other like this. not sure, like deer in headlights.
The finish of this non-existent fake
Will you leave the people of Finland alone?
So much.
And it's actually been more interesting than anything any wrestling promotion's done in 5 years to 10 years.
I'm going to put this out.
Congratulations, Army.
I'm going to put this out there for the fans. You let us know. Tell us what you think.
Oh, they'll let you know.
Fucking bring it on.
Your pay-per-view finish sucks.
Hey, it's about making money. It's about drawing fucking to the next night.
We are going to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to.
I love your pay-per-view eats a dick.
Archie and I, after we come back, at least each get 15 minutes for our card.
Right.
And we will be right
fantastic. They got to be better than what we just heard.
For the late 90s cards, 97, 98. We'll be right back on the We Can't Wrestle podcast. Jesus Christ. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the We Can't Wrestle podcast, the Dream Card Edition number 2, and my not so convivial co-hosts at this point, Aron and Kyle, who I think Kyle is driving to Aaron's house right now to have a walk and brawl, like a Jeff Jarrett style walk and brawl.
I'm asking you, please sit back down, put your shirt back on. We're not going to fight.
Aaron, when did you pierce your nipples?
Everyone's covered in barbecue sauce and beer for some reason.
I'm not too worried about our fight, Kyle, because nobody will win at the end. So
I'm just sorry that you guys, that certain people expect things just be fucking handed to them. You expect a good fucking ending. You have to have everything fucking handed. Sometimes
Kyle sounds like Vince McMahon right now. Take what I give you, motherfuckers.
Such good shit.
Don't fucking end the way you want them to.
You sound like an 80-year-old man whose brain looks like a fucking angel food cake left in the
So
ring.
he's Vince McMahon.
So and guess who's a billionaire, pal?
Now, Nate, I have a question.
Yes.
Completely off topic. When we take our breaks, what's playing in between to when we come back?
It's usually music and or Nick Aldis or Brian Pillman Jr. or Jerry Lawler talking about our show.
It's not like an ad for like Big Lots or Walmart?
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay. I thought that would be great marketing.
So now we are heading into the Attitude Era, kind of, with me and Archie's cards. Mm-hmm. Archie's going first. He got 19 and 98.
Yes.
And Archie, give us that ultimate card from 1998.
The night was
Forever
sultry.
Fish.
The night was sultry, my friends. No, I'm just kidding. No, I chose to open up my card, kind of the way WCW used to open up their cards with a cruiserweight, light heavyweight battle.
Mm-hmm.
I did my research while looking up, the wrestlers in 1998 with PWI 500 and going back and watching old matches. I'm calling this the Battle of the Michinoku Drivers because it's Taka Michinoku versus Juventud Guerrera.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Only one of those guys ever worked for the WWE.
I'm begging you, Aaron, come up with some new fucking material, man.
I'm begging you, Kyle, come up with a finish.
It's a fucking antique. Careful with it.
So, I want to give them 15 minutes so they can go back and forth with the high flying mat technician style
For
that
sure.
they do. And I want to put Hoovy over because at this time, Hoovy was kind of getting the shaft in WCW.
Well, and he had not yet been. Juventud Guerrera got ruined by Vince Russo.
Yes.
Juventud Guerrera, to me, didn't work as a heel. And I'm, as I always do here, I'm taking us off course, but I'm trying to put things into context.
Right.
As a Lucha fan, Hoovy is so much better as a masked or even unmasked, just a pretty boy baby face.
Right.
And when they slapped that juice thing on him and everything,
Ubi didn't work as a heel because Ubi couldn't speak English.
And he also smiled wherever he went. He had a shit-eating grin on his face. How do you make that a heel?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not knocking Juventud Guerrera. He's not my favorite luchador or whatever. But the reason it didn't work is the guy couldn't convey himself properly on television. And I know now everything streams and it's this, that, and everything. But at this time, there was American wrestling and there was Mexican wrestling and there was Japanese wrestling.
Right.
And Ubi couldn't express himself.
He knew 3 words.
Yeah.
Ubi, juice, and I think he would say Arriba every now and then. You know what I mean? So.
But overall, the match itself is a great opener to a show.
Yeah.
You get the crowd up off their ass.
Right.
And these two would have definitely lit it up.
Oh, without a doubt. Kyle, what do you think?
And you said Ubi goes over?
Yeah, Hoovy has to go over here. Only because at this point in time, they didn't know what to do with Taka Michinoku in WWF. And Hoovy needed it wouldn't have hurt Taka because they didn't know where he was going.
I really like Taka.
I like Taka too, but the problem is like with Taka.
And I might be wrong, and Nate, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Taka like the first like WWF guy to actually get like a guaranteed contract?
Bring him over, I think so.
Yes,
that was the rumor anyway.
The funny thing about it was
because it was supposed to be Sasuke.
Yeah, he got the guaranteed contract that Sasuke was supposed to get because Sasuke came in. They were high. Vince was high, or somebody was high on Sasuke and sold him to Vince. And Sasuke turned out to be a pain in the ass.
Right.
And Vince saw Taka work, and Taka might be one of the first guys ever also that Vince watched that was so small but impressed by.
Right.
So yeah, Taka was the first guy for WWF to get a guaranteed deal. Right. Including main eventers.
I think between Taka and Hoovy, if you're looking at this from a strictly sports contest look, Hoovy's definitely going to take it because Taka really didn't have good opponents in the WWF.
Right.
Hoovy is facing the best of the best in WCW.
Right, exactly.
Now the thing that Taka has going for him, though,
I swear to Christ, if you say a finish,
No. The greatest thing Taka has going for him, though, is the greatest title to one of our podcasts ever.
Yeah, Taka motherfucker.
Taka mother. I'll let Nate play it for you when we go off the air.
So from there, we go to our first of only 2 tag team matches on the card. And I wanted to, much like Kyle, I wanted to highlight the Dudley Boys and the Hardys because, in my opinion, those two teams, along with Edge and Christian, reinvented tag team wrestling.
Yes.
It didn't have to be a TLC match. If they had a straight up tag team contest,
and you're doing 98, right?
Yeah.
So this isn't even the I sound like Bubba right now.
Right.
This is 98 Dudley Boys, so they would be coming out there being fucking
badasses.
Super heel.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, your mama sucked my dick by the dumpster. That was the Dudleys at that time.
Right.
Yeah. Like, oh, you got a woman in the front row taught her daughter how to suck dick for crack.
Like
Bubba,
your mama
Bubba
sucked
didn't,
my dick by
Bubba,
the dumpster.
Yeah, during that time.
Not even behind it.
No.
Just by it.
During that time, Bubba didn't take the gloves off. He left them at the hotel.
Right.
Like it was.
Right.
Like behind the dumpster is one thing, but just
Right,
next to it, you're not even trying to hide it.
She's a hoe and an exhibitionist.
Yeah, she's just out there.
Now, believe it or not, after a hard-hitting match, I would put the Hardys over, only because I think Matt and Jeff needed it more.
Yeah.
Going forward,
Yeah.
I think that there was still time for Jeff to become a singles and Matt to do what he was doing with V1. I have to put the Hardys over. I gave them 12 minutes though because I think that's a good enough time for them to put on their classic match.
And the Dudleys can get some good heat.
Yeah.
Couple good finishes so far.
Again, I mentioned when Aron mentioned his card, I had HBK versus Macho Man on my card as well. I have them at number 3 actually though, because in '98. Macho was kind of in the NWO, but he was kind of not, and he was, doing the, not really with Hogan, but he was, and HBK, again, DX was at its height, but HBK wasn't there anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was kind of on the outs, so it's the match we never got to see,
and it would be. And in putting into context with this year, it would be a fitting farewell for Shawn,
right? At
the time, and Savage. I mean, let's be honest, guys, and this might be why he's my favorite wrestler of all time. Can you ever? And I'm not talking about the storylines that he was given that sometimes made his character wishy-washy, especially in WCW when they would flip-flop people with the NWO and stuff.
Right.
But can you really ever... Is Randy Savage a guy where you can really ever say there was ever a bad point in his career?
No.
But there isn't. But what I was going to say was, like, after 97... Randy Savage has a weird fucking career.
Right.
It's really fucking weird. Like,
it's played by Hogan.
He's in there, but he's not. And then there'd be times where he, like in WCW, where he was there, and then he just fucking disappear,
right,
and not be around
himself,
and not even like reinvent it. Like he'd just be there, and then he'd be gone. And you wouldn't see him forever, and then he'd show up for a couple things, and then he was just fucking gone. Like after 97, Randy didn't. I mean, he had his shit. He had his shit in '99 where he was feuding with like Kevin Nash and everything.
Right.
But it was just like after '97, Randy had a weird fucking career.
Right. Right. And Shawn did too, kinda. So that's why I put them as the third match. I gave him 25 minutes to kind of bring the house down, as only the two of them can.
Right.
But I ended it with, because of everything that was going on with Savage, Hulk Hogan comes out and causes a distraction, which leads to an HBK win. Hogan's there like Savage, just that. You're not in the NWO, you're crazy, you're this. Savage turns back around right into sweet chin music, pin, match over.
Well, and a shady finish for this match would have been good on either way, because at this time you've essentially booked a heel match.
Right.
So either one of them, Savage calls on Hogan or and like you said, at this point, Hogan kind of fucks Savage.
Right.
But where Shawn calls on Hunter or what have you. Right. So
yeah. Vince could even get involved, you know what I mean? But I like Hogan getting involved here because it leaves a door for Hogan and Savage to now continue their feud. And like you said, it's the proper send-off for HBK.
And it has a finish.
But I like the fact that Archie's planning for the future, kind of like what how wrestling.
You should have done with your pay-per-view.
Next, did you plan for
now?
The
let's
next
go
pay-per-view?
on. What's your next match, Archie?
Well, and I mentioned this with yours and Aaron's card. By this point, it's been 4 good matches, so we want to bring the crowd down a little bit. So I went with a women's match. And in 1998, the only 2 women that I could find on a roster that actually knew how to wrestle somewhat was Sable and Luna Vachon. And they were also feuding at this point.
Now, here's the only.
There was a good. There was a couple of good female wrestlers on some rosters.
Yeah, but no one that could have that would have been wrestling in my. I looked at the rosters, and it was like, okay, I could take Medusa from WCW, but she wasn't really wrestling yet that much.
It was Jackie.
There was Jackie, but I wanted to stick with what was going on.
Look, if you want to sell a pay-per-view, fucking Sable or fucking Jackie. I'm
in
sorry,
'98,
Sable's gonna fucking sell the pay-per-view.
Oh, and Sable's a heel at this moment. She's telling them, for the men that want to meet me and the girls that want to be me. So, but I made it a 5-minute.
Was like, yeah.
I made this a 5-minute throwaway match only because
I'd let Jackie beat me. Just saying.
Maybe 90s Jackie. Nowadays Jackie, not so much.
You get your finish here.
Sable's 90 or Sable now. No.
5-minute throwaway match. Sable gets the win with the Sable bomb. Does her little gyration. Walks to the back.
No wonder.
No
wonder Brock Lesnar seems like an asshole. If I had to be married to fucking Lena, I'd
be
miserable too.
If you had to be married to Leatherass, you'd be miserable too.
Right? She's constantly walking around the house. Mark Marrow didn't treat me like this. Bitch, you left Mark Marrow.
Mark Marrow also didn't have money.
Right.
Brock, I thought you said you were going to fix the sink last week. God damn it, I'm going out to the field.
Like, Mark Marrow also didn't have unlimited Jimmy John sandwiches, bitch.
We have
At least you don't have to
shorts.
At least you don't have to
shorts.
At least you don't have to make dinner.
Jimmy John's.
So now
I'm so sick and tired of Paul being over here all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Our fucking Jimmy John subs.
Meanwhile, Paul's at the dining room table eating, going, "What?
I love Jimmy John."
He's going to get double the meat. God damn.
The pastrami is amazing.
And the pastrami is extreme.
So now we go to our 5th match, and this is why. This is why I booked that throwaway match, because our 5th match is going to see Jushin Thunder Liger.
This is a November to remember, and a hoagie you're never going to forget.
Check, please.
Paul Heyman has never said check, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I'm an advocate for hoagies.
He's never seen it. He's never seen it.
Oh my God, my head hurts.
He's seen plenty of them. He's seen plenty of them bounce, but he's never asked for one.
Right.
That's the Heyman hustle right there.
God bless him.
That's what the ECW wrestlers were saying to Paul all those years. Check, please. Please.
Hands out.
Sorry, Archie, your shit's gone off the rails. Sorry, buddy.
It's okay. It's okay.
I just busted a gusher for you tonight. Check, please. Jesus.
So our 5th match, because of that horrible women's match, throwaway match, is Jushin Thunder Liger.
Paul
battling
Heyman's never
Chris-
thrown anything away.
battling Chris Jericho
Wow.
and Chris Benoit in a triple threat match.
Very nice.
Who wins
And
that one?
I'm giving them 25 minutes to do whatever the hell they want.
As well you should.
In fact, as Kyle said, go out there and make me money. That's all they can do. And I see Benoit going over. I see Liger hitting the Liger bomb, and then Benoit hits the diving headbutt on Liger, but pins Jericho.
Yeah,
Okay.
I definitely see it being whoever wins has to steal this one.
Right.
Type
There's
of-
no openings in this match. You only have an opening.
Like
at the ending.
Benoit didn't really win it, Liger did, but Benoit stole it.
Right. And at this time, Benoit
And then
was the heel, so it works in.
you could build into that to the next
Right.
pay-per-view, having Liger
versus
versus
Benoit. Right. Exactly.
Where there's a finish.
Kyle.
where there's a finish that builds into the next pay-per-view.
Now, I talked about the NWO and DX earlier because we had Michaels versus Savage, but Savage was on the outs with the NWO at this point, and so was Michaels with DX. We have a classic DX versus NWO match. The Outsiders are taking on the New Age Outlaws,
Okay.
and
That would be a fun lead up promo deal.
Oh yeah.
Like that, we've talked about that with the other cards too. Like you hit a match where you're like, the match may or may not be decent. It'd be all right. But the lead up to it, like the mic work and everything would be
Like
super.
Kevin Nash.
Oh, he buries both of them with the mic guaranteed.
Like 1998 Kevin Nash
Oh yeah.
and 1998 Road Dogg
Oh
going
yeah.
back and forth would be fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Right.
Because neither one of those guys gave a shit. You know what I mean?
You could have Kevin Nash being like, "Hey, you know what? You and Billy Gunn are nothing more than fucking replacements.
Right.
Cheap replacements
Exactly.
for
better replacement than the original big slacker. You could just do some great promos.
Right,
there.
exactly. That's what I'm leaning on. But
Other than Billy Gunn. I'm sorry, just Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn is that guy that just yells
you
at
could be
me.
like, "Oh, you didn't know?
no."
You better call somebody." And then Kevin Nash would be like, "Oh, you didn't know? You better call a nobody, Billy Gunn."
Yeah, but you can't because he didn't pay his phone bill.
right.
Yeah.
Last night on AEW, FTR was cutting a heel promo, and they look at Billy Gunn, and they're like, "Billy, you're a legend. And just because you're in a second-rate Hall of Fame doesn't mean that you should try to jump in this ring and try to help your bastard son get over." And all I kept thinking was, wow, Billy Gunn just ate shit. And I was like,
Yeah.
Billy Gunn ate shit at his own fucking
Right.
Hall of Fame induction.
right.
Whoever thought that I
When Triple H is like, "We're gonna buy your pissant company in a couple of years from now."
Right.
Anyway.
Yep.
Okay, and I know Archie's talking about.
No,
Nate,
I
did you forget
I
about
agree.
that, Nate?
Until
about that?
you reminded me, yes.
And see, I don't want to keep interrupting Archie's
No,
show,
you're fine.
but that's the thing. Sometimes, with what people say about Vince and the WWF and the WWE, like the shit that they think's funny and the shit they make fun of or whatever. They're the big dog in the pond, and a lot of the shit they say about the lesser shit is actually pretty funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like Vince, sometimes when he makes fun of people, it's pretty goddamn funny.
Oh yeah.
And people are like, "Oh, Vince is a dick," and ho ho ho. It's like, no, but he says. Never mind.
So-
I don't want to. I don't want to get too.
I booked this match
In the
though
weeds.
as a clusterfuck. I'm not gonna lie.
And it should be. I mean,
it should be.
considering,
I see.
like I said earlier, considering that it's during the Attitude Era
Right.
and
Like this
the
match,
performers involved.
This match, the Outlaws versus the Outsiders. This shouldn't be more than 8 minutes.
I gave it 6 minutes before it gets torn apart.
And let's face it, they're more worried about what's going to happen outside the ring than
Well, that's what exactly. So I have Vincent sneaking down to the ring, pulling Billy Gunn's leg. China comes up from behind and low blows him. But then Big Scott Norton comes up behind her and they go face to face, which leads to Triple H and X-Pac coming out. They take out Norton, but then X-Pac slides into the ring and is in the middle of the Outlaws and the Guns. So now it's whose side is he on? The Outlaws and the Outsiders. Whose side is X-Pac on?
Right.
And X-Pac turns and low blows Kevin Nash. Referee calls for the bell, and the match is declared a no contest.
Which is fitting for these two acts.
Right.
And when Scott Norton and China have their face-off, Jim Ross can go, "Oh my God, there's a dick swinging situation going on there."
Exactly. Come to our seventh match, and I gave this match 20 minutes based
I
on
want to
the
say this,
history.
though. I want to say this real quick. I
Yes.
love the fact that Scott Norton was involved in that match.
Well, yeah, I didn't
That
want
dude is
anybody big in the
that dude is
NWO
like
involved.
undercover favorite of mine. I love Scott
Well,
Norton.
my exact writing was the NWO B team because it was Vincent, Norton, Bagwell, Stevie Ray. You know what I mean? It was nobody big in the NWO getting involved. You know,
I'm a Scott Norton mark, though, man.
I like Scott Norton.
And
I
it's-
liked
and
him when he
it's-
first debuted.
It's perfect 98 booking because you got kind of a stooge involved.
Right.
And, yeah.
Right. Shane, match number 7, Shane Douglas versus his friend and the man that he trained with, Mick Foley.
Now, let me ask this, and I'm not trying to,
No, go ahead.
whatever. Is it Mick Foley?
Yes.
So it's just
It is
straight
not-
Mick Foley.
Right.
It's not like
If you-
when you said Mick Foley, I meant like he's not like
No, he's not Cactus.
doing the
He's
character,
not- no.
and it's just
The way
Shane
I'm
Douglas
putting-
versus
right.
Mick Foley.
The way I'm putting this feud together is as Mick Foley, as Cactus Jack or Mankind or, is cutting a promo, Shane comes out and talks about the last match that Mick Foley had in ECW, which was against Shane Douglas. Shane handcuffed Foley and bashed him with a chair till he was bloody and let him leave the ECW arena bloody. So Shane is harping on that he was the reason Foley left ECW. And he says, the reason I'm here, though, is not to fight Cactus Jack, not to fight True Love, not to fight Mankind. I'm here to fight Mick Foley and finally get you at your best.
Yeah.
And I let them have a 20-minute classic with Mick Foley finally picking up the win against Shane Douglas after a double arm DDT. There's no chairs. This is not a hardcore match. This is actually a wrestling match, which is weird for Mick Foley, obviously, but it's Shane getting the best out of Foley.
And it's not, it wouldn't be, okay, for the character of Foley, during the show, while people are watching it, for Foley, I like the way you did this, Archie, because for Foley and his character on TV, it would be quote-unquote weird. However, what you've done, because it isn't weird, because every great, even brawler, we've talked about it before with New Jack or Bruiser Brody or Foley, at the heart of even being a brawler, you have to be a wrestler first.
Right.
See, you know what I would do with this?
Go ahead.
I would do it where Shane shows up in the WWF, all right, and he's like needling Mick Foley, right?
Right.
Needling him. I was your last match in ECW, this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
And Shane's cutting these promos, and I know you're not like a huge Shane Douglas fan or whatever, but you can't knock the fact that Shane Douglas cut a promo.
Yeah.
But let Shane needle at it, and at first, when he's needling at it, Mankind comes out.
Right.
And Shane Douglas is cutting this promo, and then he just goes, nope, and slams the mic down and walks away. And Mankind comes out. Then the next week, let him come out and just needle away at Foley again. Needle.
Right.
And then fucking Dude Love comes out. And Shane goes, nope, slams the mic down. Next week, needles away at fucking Mick Foley. Then guess who else comes out?
Mankind.
Dude Love. And Shane's like, nope. Slams the mic down. And then
But
the
see,
last fucking week, he's needling.
Wait, I'm going to cut you off for a second. When he comes out with that last incarnation, because he's been Cactus Jack, Dude Love, now he's Mankind. I want Shane Douglas to go to the heart of Foley and say, I don't want one of your freaky characters. I want the guy that Dominic DeNucci trained.
That's what I was getting at. Like
gets
now he's needled
Foley to finally go.
That's what I'm saying. Like he needled, and Foley came out as Mick, or not as Mick. He came out as Mankind. Came out as Cactus, and he came out as Dude Love. You got to do it in that order. You got to do it where Shane just showed up in the WWF.
Right.
So Mick comes out as the guy that he started in the WWF as.
Right.
And then Shane needles him again. He comes out as Cactus Jack, which is the whatever hardcore
Shane beat. Right. Shane beat Cactus.
And then he comes out as Dude Love, which is the super WWF one. And Shane's like, no, I want absolutely nothing to do with that. Right. Slams it down. And needles him the next week. That's the fourth week now. You've built this feud for 3 weeks.
Right.
Now you give him the fourth one, and he comes out as Mick, and let Shane go, this is the one that I wanted.
Right. And when he mentions Dominic,
still know I'm better than you.
Right.
And then let Mick fucking pop off on him.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's what I want. I want the thing that sets Mick Foley off is when Shane tells him, you're not the guy Dominic DeNucci, because that was their trainer. You're not the guy Dominic trained. You're a puppet. You're a clown.
You're a goddamn muppet. He's not even a puppet. You're a muppet.
Right. You're what Vince McMahon made you. And then that's when Mick finally hauls off and punches him.
Yeah.
Mick goes over after their 20-minute battle. Again, no chairs, no nothing. But they both tear into each other. They're both a bloody mess. And Mick gets the win. Shane stands up, shakes his hand, they hug, and they both walk off. Because in that kind of a feud, I want it to end as this is what Shane wanted, to bring the best of Foley out. Not, he wasn't being an antagonist. He was being a helper of sorts.
Now, I want to say one thing.
Yes.
We talked about the build up to the match. And I love it. But there's a line that I would want to throw in. Mm-hmm. And maybe me, because I want to burn on Shane Douglas a little bit. But I would love it. It's because this is 98.
Right.
Because Shane Douglas, you talk about Shane Douglas from 91 until, probably 95 when he was in the WWF. He was in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
So one of the best things would be to have Foley, who has never had a great physique,
right,
come out during his first interaction, maybe even as Mankind, because Mankind can get away with a little bit of comedy.
Right.
Come out and say, he comes out to face Shane Douglas, and the first words out of his mouth is, "Well, Shane,
you let yourself go.
You got fat."
Yeah, right.
Because by that time, Shane
let
was
yourself go, and then that's what makes like Aaron said. That's when Shane goes, "Nope," throws the mic down and walks away.
See, the if you want to have him speak, that's fine. But my thing was like, I wouldn't even let Foley speak.
Right.
Like I wouldn't even let Shane.
Pay-per-view.
I wouldn't even until he came out as Mick Foley. I wouldn't even have Shane allow the character to speak. Like I said, the minute would be like and Foley got and Mankind got in the ring. Shane would just be like and bounce. Right, and it would be like that with all of it.
We moved to our 8th match, and I wanted again to dip back into ECW with some history there. So I have Taz versus Dean Malenko.
Damn.
Yeah.
In honor of Puppet.
In honor of Puppet, yes. These two fought twice for the World Television title in the past, but Taz was known as the Tasmaniac. And I want to see a mat classic between the two of them. 15 minutes of technical wrestling classic. And I see Malenko strapping on the Texas Cloverleaf, and Taz not tapping.
Mm-hmm.
Taz passes out, and Malenko wins by his opponent going unconscious, because I can't see Taz tapping out.
No.
You know,
especially at this time. I mean, he was such a strong character at this time.
Right. You know, so I see them I see it as a great match, but there's more to build on with Taz coming out and going, Dean, you didn't tap me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you didn't put me away, Dean. I just couldn't handle it anymore, but I can handle it next time. And you could even build on them having an ultimate submission match, or a any kind of submission rules matchup from there going forward. You know, I liked their dynamic when they were in ECW. I think they'd match well now in '98 as well.
For sure. Yeah. Kyle, any thoughts on that?
I think that if you're gonna do that, I would almost go with like a time limit.
That could work too. Yeah.
Because have Dean Malenko have Taz in the Cloverleaf, and the time runs out before.
I like that too.
That way, coming into the next one, if it's an ultimate submission match, because if you don't have Taz tap, then it's like, well, fucking Taz is already tough, and he's not going to tap out to Cloverleaf anyways. So, at least this way, it's like you make it look like Dean Malenko fucking had him, but just time expired.
Yeah, I like that too. That works either way. Like I said, it doesn't hurt Taz by him either passing out or the time limit expiring. It puts Malenko over as being a tough son of a bitch to hang in there with Taz.
I like the fact.
Kyle with another non-finish. Good job, buddy.
I like the fact that you're building to your next show, which is what pro wrestling should do.
Well, my next match isn't really so much to build to the next show, as much as it's just two hard son of a bitches I've always wanted to see fight. And my 9th match before the main event, in a 10-minute brawl, is Masahiro Chono versus Ken Shamrock.
Oh,
Jesus Christ!
That's super random.
Yeah, it is. But this is a stiff fight. It's not a
fucking stiff. Ain't the word for it.
Yeah, no. This is two guys trading shots. Every time Shamrock tries to go for a submission,
guy Chono taking Viagra ain't gonna be more stiff than this.
I give him 10 minutes though in this brawl, and
they'll kill each other before 10 minutes is up.
Oh yeah, but I see Shamrock going to shoot in to try to get a leg. Chono lifts his leg and hits him with that Yakuza kick, knocks him the fuck out, pins him, and match over. That was the only way I could see Ken actually losing in this, is by a mistake. You know, he's relying on his ground and pound while Chono wants to stand and beat the shit out of him.
Right.
So
I'm going to say this. I was expecting a lot of stuff. I was not expecting Masahiro Chono versus Ken Shamrock.
Right. Oh, you're not gonna be expecting my main event.
Is it Yuji Nagata versus Kurt Angle?
Yes. No. But you're close. As you've noticed, I did not have Undertaker on my card.
Mm-hmm.
I did not have Steve Austin on my card or Hulk Hogan. And this was not because I don't like those gentlemen. It's not because I don't think they would have been a good card. I was more going for a pure athleticism and downright around the world type of matches. But this one was mainly because in '98, these were my two favorite guys, and I always wanted to see them fight. My main event for the evening, gentlemen, is Owen Hart versus Rob Van Dam.
Ooh.
Wowie.
Owen, no Brett, no Bulldog, no Anvil. He was probably with the Nation or, floating around somewhere.
Yeah.
And Rob was still trying to make ECW a thing and be there for the company, but also jumping back and forth to Raw. So I see this feud starting off that Van Dam jumps to Raw one week. He has a great match with a Jeff Hardy. Owen comes out and says, "You don't belong here. This is my company. Go back to your bingo hall." Feud started.
Rob says, "Go back to your dungeon."
Right. Exactly. The next week, during an Owen match, Rob comes out. They have words again. Owen says, "You don't belong here. You don't have any friends." Rob looks at Owen and says, "Neither do you. Your family all went south." Their match, gentlemen, I would give these guys 30 to 45 minutes to do everything in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Because just like with Liger and Benoit and Jericho, these are two men you say go out there and have a great match, and they will do it. I want to say that I see Benoit make Benoit on the brain. I see Rob Van Dam making a mistake, goes for the shooting star press. That split-legged moonsault move. Owen moves. Owen goes for the sharpshooter. Van Dam pushes him off, but Van Dam is still hurt, groggy. Owen mounts the top rope, hits that Mitchell drop kick Owen was known for. 1, 2, 3. Match over. Owen Hart goes over Rob Van Dam.
And putting Owen over is never a bad idea.
Nope.
And that would be a fantastic match that I don't believe ever happened.
Nope, neither do I.
So, you know what, Archie? I give your fucking card a 9.5 out of 10, especially...
Thank you.
Especially for the Attitude Era. That's a damn fine card.
Like I said, the research that I did, I looked, I just didn't want it to be, it's got to be Hogan, it's got to be this guy, it doesn't have to be, because there were great matches going on that year that didn't include an Austin or a Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
The best
Your
part
main event had a finish, and that was super awesome.
had a finish.
So Archie just gave
Kyle,
us.
are you getting salty, Kyle?
No.
I think you're getting salty, buddy.
I think it's wonderful that you expect the fucking best of everything, and that you want to be fucking handed these fucking feel good moments, and that you expect the fucking world to treat you like a fucking king. I think that's wonderful.
I
We'll sit here in
I
the real
will-
world and realize
No,
that,
I will defend something, though, here, Kyle.
yes,
You booked in 2003. At that time, no one was expecting a participation medal or a feel-good moment. It was a different world.
And
So-
hey, if you want to talk about realism, sometimes matches don't fucking end with a finish. That's just the way it is.
Aaron just
You can
busted a
fart all you
grumpy
want. That's-
on the We Can't Wrestle podcast. So Archie just gave us a 9.5 out of 10. I'm going to give you now after listening to Archie's card, my 6 out of 10. Thanks, Arch.
No.
I got 1997, which is my favorite year in pro wrestling. And
My second favorite year.
I am by far the least long-winded of this group. Nudge, 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 wink, wink, say no more,
Yeah,
say no
that's
more.
why I'm being quiet.
I'm the least long-winded person on the entire fucking program. I say my point and then I get out.
And then you say your point again.
Wait, hold on.
And if
hold on.
nobody
Not my fault that nobody
Hold on.
listens.
If
Hold
nobody
on.
listens, you continue to repeat your point.
Hold on. Who just argued with Kyle for 10 minutes? The ghost in your paranormal activity that
Yeah.
you have going on?
That's right.
It's not my
that's
fault.
Right.
It's
Okay,
not my
Snitsky.
fault that
Okay,
nobody
Snitsky.
listens.
All right, Snitsky.
I have 20 minutes by my own
You take as long as you need.
time limit here. I have 20 minutes to cover my card. This is 97. I didn't know exactly where to land the card, so I kind of hit mid 97.
Okay.
But to open the show, for me, a good wrestling show opens with a hot match, and I love tag team wrestling. So I opened up the show with a tag team match, and I've got Rob Van Dam and Rob Van Dam. Yeah, it's a different character. Rob Van Dam and Sabu from ECW, hooking it up with Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio from WCW.
Ooh.
I like it.
Wow. At this time, all four of these guys were literally at the top of their game.
Yep.
Eddie in 97. Eddie had better years than 97, but I don't know that he was ever in better ring condition than in 97.
True.
I mean, he was fucking ripped in 97.
Yeah.
And Ray was revolutionizing wrestling in 97.
Oh, yeah.
RVD and Sabu, once again, also revolutionizing shit in 97.
Best tag team of that year, I think.
For sure. And this match, and much like most of us have said during our opening match, you're going to give it at least 15 to 17 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And I give Eddie and Ray the win. Probably some sort of failed table spot or something by RVD and Sabu.
More than likely.
That turns the tables, excuse the pun, on them, and Ray gets the win, the pin on Sabu. But I think that would be a fantastic match to open the show, get the crowd
definitely
hyped, and I don't know, you guys' thoughts?
Go ahead.
If it was me, what I would do is I would have, again, I'm always thinking towards the future, so but I would have, RVD be like, look, Sabu, like, you don't fucking need the tables. Like, let's just fucking do the,
Right.
And have Sabu be like, no, and have that be what costs the match, where RVD's like, God damn it, I told you,
Right. Yeah, and then they can go back to their promotion and continue their dissension.
I like it.
The second match on my show is we're gonna, of course, the flow of a show. We're gonna bring it down a little, not down, but we're gonna slow the pace a little with a technical match. And I have, your swarmy technical heel Owen Hart against your technical babyface Dean Malenko.
Ooh.
I
like it.
I got Owen and Dean, and in this time frame, I think actually, I guess I take back what I was thinking when I was writing this. I guess the Jericho Malenko feud was more a 98 feud. I think it started in 97 and bled into 98.
Right.
Yeah.
But you could have the same dynamic with Owen and Dean that you had with Jericho and Dean. Because, Owen is the most versatile performer other than Bobby Heenan in wrestling.
You got this guy that's just an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying in real life, Owen. I'm not saying that.
Oh, no. In real life, he was the farthest from an asshole.
Yeah,
Right,
but
right.
as a character on TV, Owen Hart is an asshole. And Dean Malenko is a good dude, and fucking let Owen just rip him up for like 2 months, and then fucking Dean finally
Right, like with the Jericho feud. Like with the Jericho feud, he finally snaps.
And no disrespect to Jericho.
It would be better because Owen is better than Jericho.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Now,
I think. Go ahead, Arch.
No, go ahead, Nate.
I was just going to say what I think as far as the match quality goes is.
And by the way, Chris Jericho would say that Owen Hart is better than Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It would never. This match couldn't be, as far as where its place on the card and what its purpose was. I don't know that you could find two guys at this time that would do a better job.
Disco Inferno.
Disco Inferno. That's your next T-shirt. Disco Inferno. And I put Dean over Cloverleaf clean. Because like I said, we've. If I'm building this, if I've been building this, it's time for
Owen's
him.
being the prick he's got to lose.
Yeah,
Well,
and he's got to tap.
What I was going to say here was, Nate, is 97 was the year that Malenko was the number one pick in the PWI 500.
Mm-hmm.
So that builds the feud, too. Owen could be like, you're not better than me. You're not the number one wrestler in the world.
Who's your dad?
Right.
Who's your dad? My
Right,
dad's
and-
Stu Hart. Your dad's
Right.
what? Boris Malenko?
Malenko, right.
Yeah.
And then
I'm gonna kick your knee out from your knee.
Right.
I'm gonna.
That could be.
That's why I
that could
kicked
be
your
a
leg
Dean
out
line.
from your leg.
That could be a Dean line. What are you going to do, Owen? Kick my leg out from my leg? And it leads to a little bit of comedy. And yeah, Dean has to go over because this was when he was getting built up.
Mm-hmm.
Owen isn't hurt by a loss here.
And I think also, nobody in the match suffers from size. Owen's a little thicker than Dean, but he's not much taller. And I don't know. I just like when I was thinking of 97, bam, that just like popped. That's the first when Kyle gave me 97. The first match that came to my mind was I want to see Malenko and Owen Hart. So I put it on the fucking card.
No, I love it. I actually love the match. I want to see that.
So now we bring it down. We're going to bring it down a little. We're going to have a big man match. But in retrospect, it's two of the best big men ever going at it. And to be
Viscera and Abdullah the Butcher.
That's a slap the titties together match. No, that's not.
Oh, I thought it was who runs their plate better match, but okay.
Who likes barbecue better?
Who likes barbecue the best?
Who handles a fork better? Of course, it's Abdullah.
Could you finish your plate in 30 minutes or less?
But also in this match, I've kind of got a dichotomy going because I'm talking about building for the future, and I'm talking about the recent past versus the immediate future. And I'm going to book a show, or I'm going to book a match on this is an audio show, so y'all can't see this, but Aaron is having his Viscera and Abdullah the Butcher figures slap bump uglies there, but
Hey, I need that Abdullah the Butcher.
I'm going to have the Giant against Vader. And the reason I say that is, again, past and present, past and future, whatever you want to call it. At this time, Paul White could still throw a drop kick.
Mm-hmm.
And at this time, Leon White could still do a moonsault. So at this time, I think both guys could have lit it up for a big man match.
I agree.
Giant in 97 was fucking amazing. Like I don't think
it was an anomaly. He was a physical fucking anomaly.
I don't think people realize how good he was. Like
No.
it
That dude did a drop kick from the top rope in one match.
We're not talking about, folks, we're not talking about the big show that was in WWE in 2003 or whatever. This is still a young, hungry,
slim, fucking just.
Yeah, he's being billed as 7'2" and 500 pounds, but he's more like 7 foot and 380.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
and I just think at this time, because like I said, Vader at this time was still he hadn't his health hadn't started to deteriorate yet.
And Nate, if you remember how Vader left WCW, they were building to him going against the Dungeon of Doom. Mm-hmm. So we were supposed to get a Vader versus Giant match.
Right. So,
there's payoff there.
I still think you have the opportunity for this match at this time.
Definitely.
And honestly, as much as we like to talk about Andre being, a true giant and stuff, like, unfortunately, most of us, like when we saw Andre, he was very limited in the ring.
Mm-hmm. And that's not discrediting anything he ever did.
No, not at all.
But to see a guy like the Giant, who is about as big as what Andre was, but in his prime, it was fucking scary. It was like, holy shit, this guy is a fucking giant.
Right. And when I first mentioned the match, Aaron made a face, so I want to get your thoughts.
I agree with the match. Okay, as long as it's like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, it better
not be no more than 10 minutes.
Better have a finish,
and it better be fucking Giant chokeslamming Vader and pinning.
No, and my finish is Vader does his Vader salt and misses. Right. So nobody looks like shit. Vader does his Vader salt and misses. And then when he gets back up, Giant's back up. Giant hits him with a choke slam. We get a pin. And, I mean, you could go further with it if you wanted to. But, yeah, that was my finish. Giant with the choke slam, especially in 97. Vader is...
It's similar to, like, when you brought the match up. It's similar to what popped into my head as the finish.
Yeah.
I would have had him go for, like, the second row Vader bomb, that he does. Like, right. I know it's not a visual thing that we're doing, but he's like, does that, goes to jump, and as soon as he jumps, like, fucking Paul just puts his arm up and goozles him and stands up and then fucking choke slams.
And that'd be cool, too, and at this time they could have pulled that off.
That would be the best way to fucking do it. Huh?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I was going to say, at this time they could have pulled that off.
Oh, yeah.
They still both had the ability to do it. So the next match,
usually him out of a fucking Vader bomb would look fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah, but that ain't getting pulled off. They're gonna kill each other if that happens.
The next match, we're going fucking crazy, folks.
Ooh,
Fucking crazy.
We're going fucking crazy. It's a tag team match.
It's
there are no rules.
Versus Disco Inferno.
There are no limits. The only way you're going to win this match is by pinfall or submission. The Dudleys, like we talked about, they are just, at this point, they are assholes. They will say anything. They will do anything. And what better thing to do for the Dudleys than to call out these washed up, they ain't hardcore no more
bushwhackers.
Public Enemy?
No.
Did you call out the Public Enemy?
Yeah, they were never hardcore. They were fucking shit. Terry Funk and Mick Foley.
Oh!
So we got the Dudleys against Funk and Foley in a funkin' hardcore tag team match. No tags, no rules.
I get the feeling that the Dudleys are going to push Foley and Funk off a cliff in the garbage can like the Outlaws did. But off a cliff, not off the edge.
Now, somebody might actually die.
Now, what I'm going to say is this is, and again, in these cards, I guess we kind of have to put things in context as far as finishes and stuff goes. At this point in this rivalry, this would be the end of the rivalry. So, I mean, obviously the Dudleys are dastardly. They're fucking assholes. They've done lots of dirty things to Foley and Funk. So Foley and Funk are going over, but barely. No
problem with that.
They are going over, but barely. And I would probably give Terry the pin with a big assist by Mick. But you want to have a feel good. This is middle aged and crazy Terry. Yeah, this is barely legal. This is barely legal Funk. This is all love Terry Funk.
Let Cactus hit like his double arm on Devon, and Devon can pop up like fucking back bump, and let Terry hit his moonsault. 1, 2, 3.
I was going to say the same thing.
Maybe and even have it maybe be in like a fucking pile of chairs or something.
Yeah,
like let Devon get.
Oh, this match has every that's why I booked it this way. This match for the guys involved and for Terry
and
Bubba
got removed because guess what? Bubba got put through a goddamn flaming table. Like Bubba's just eliminated.
Anybody remember the opening to ECW, the original version?
Oh yeah,
with the fans throwing all the chairs in the ring at Funk and the Public Enemy, and I could see that being relived in this match.
Yes,
and the Dudleys being covered in chairs.
And so we got a feel good moment there, and then I don't know, we got to take it down a little bit with some interviews and shit, but whatever.
You have a non-finish, don't you?
No. Actually, I don't think my card has a non-finish.
Oh.
I take that back. It does. It has one non-finish.
Didn't your main event?
We all had one non-finish. We all had one non-finish.
My next match is the one I already alluded to earlier. My next match is the one I already alluded to earlier. We don't need to elaborate. I have Taker going over Raven.
Have to.
Yeah.
Have to.
So
2 years after their massive struggle at my show.
In 95, yes.
Yeah.
So the next match on my card is...
Wait, Nate. If they battled on Aaron's show, for your show, Raven makes it gay this time. instead of it not being gay.
Makes it gay?
Yeah, it's like during your show, Aaron, Raven was like, I want to be with you. And Dicker's like, it's not gay though. But for
this
Nate's
is 90,
show,
this is 97, so
Right.
Taker could be like, I do have the teardrop.
right.
We're more woke now.
We're more woke now. It's the
Go ahead.
Undertaker versus Gavin. All right. All right. So my next match is I've placed Ric Flair into a more aristocratic role here. Back to his, the suit, the tie, it's Ric Flair. It's the Ric Flair we love the most.
Right.
And he is going to have a match with a young man that he has crossed paths with in the past, and who is now coming up, and he is really coming up, and he is coming up as a blue collar, trash talking,
Ric Flair
hates
Stone
that guy
Cold?
in that suit, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I thought you were gonna say Duke the Dumpster
Dumpster
Drowsy.
Drosy. I thought so too, Kyle.
No,
Wow.
Duke was a trash taken out on his way down the card at this point, but I
Right,
got
he
Flair
only
and
talks trash
Austin.
now.
He wasn't blue collar; he was brown collar.
I got Flair and Austin, and I mean, could you write that?
Oh,
It writes
yeah.
itself. It
Oh,
writes
yeah.
itself.
Austin gets in Flair's face, and he's like, "When Bischoff called and fired me by phone, you were nowhere in sight. Where was my?"
And Flair
bounty?"
was like, I was nowhere in sight because it was Space Mountain, and I had chicks that night.
Right.
You know,
Right. I
and-
didn't care about you, Steve. I cared about myself.
And that'd be great to see Austin bring back like the Flair for the old and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ooh, I like that.
See, Flair could also be like, dude, I was in the same spot you were in, man. Like, I know it doesn't work with like talking about the suit and the aristocrat thing or whatever, but
Mhm.
Well, I mean, for the first couple weeks, it could work. Like, Flair could be, hey, I was in the same spot as you. I was worried about my job. I didn't know what to do. And then finally, Flair snaps like, "You're right. I didn't care when
You're
you
right,
got fired.
pal. You're right, pal.
You're right. I didn't care."
I didn't care if you got fired because if I got fired, I still got money. You know, like
Right.
and then you get all like the thing that could flip Steve would be like Flair going, dude, you getting fired would be a blip. Me
Right.
getting
Mhm.
fired would end the company.
right.
Yeah, I like that.
I would also
Mhm.
have Flair being
Yeah.
like, listen here, pal, like you fucking like you're gonna
How
sit
long
here and blame me. You're
And
gonna blame me like because you couldn't cut it.
Right.
And Flair like
You got
kinda
injured,
said,
not me.
like Flair could almost be like, dude. He wouldn't say dude, but you know what I mean. Like
Listen here,
Flair could almost be like, dude, you were
Listen here,
just trying
fat
to
boy.
be me anyway.
Right.
Right.
You know, stunning Steve was just a mirror of Ric Flair.
Stunning
So,
Steve wasn't
fuck
so
you.
stunning.
Yeah, you were
Right.
just a Ric Flair wannabe, and then Steve could just smack him with a beer and fucking stun him.
And for this moment in time, with the trajectory he was on, I put Austin over. I mean,
definitely.
obviously, Ric Flair gives him a great match.
Oh, yeah.
But I put Austin over with a stunner.
And this would be a match where after Steve did that, I wouldn't be mad where the guy that just lost immediately endorsed the person that beat
They
it.
share a beer. Flair
Mhm.
removes the suit, the tie.
Like Flair can be like,
know?
shit, I said you
Flair
were
could
trying to be me.
Flair could even go into the crazy Flair, like
Right.
bouncing off the ropes with the beer and
Right.
Yeah,
Woo,
it's
woo,
like
woo.
let Flair be like, dude, I thought you were still stunning Steve, but Jesus Christ, the Stone Cold's fucking fantastic.
Well, then you could do something
Yeah.
fun where like you have like I wouldn't even have Ric Flair be like the crazy Flair. I'd have Flair be like, whoa, I'm going to show you like the best time of town, like in the limo.
right.
Right.
Take you to the
You think you can
fanciest
drink?
restaurants. Take you to fancy restaurants.
And I wouldn't
Just have
I wouldn't
Austin be like,
No.
Like
No, I wouldn't even be mad if Steve Austin was just like after Flair was like got beat and was like, and Flair was like, "Woo, you're crazy," and drinking beers with him and shit. I wouldn't even be mad if the Stone Cold character was like, you know what, fucking Ric Flair's pretty cool,
Right,
you know?
right.
Can you imagine?
Yeah,
Can you imagine Flair and
like the
and
one
Austin
guy,
and,
the one guy
and like
that Stone Cold Steve Austin likes is the Nature Boy Ric
it's like
Flair.
at the. Can you imagine them like at the Marriott or the Hilton and stuff? And Flair's like, I got this like 3,000 ml of
Right.
champagne or whatever. Fucking Austin has like his cooler of beer. And he's
Right.
Like, goddamn,
But
man,
Austin-
let's do it.
Austin in that ugly ass suit that he was in after he won the world title with a
Yeah.
man. And he's real uncomfortable.
Like, I really think this. I think that a character wise, if you look at the characters, Steve, like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Nature Boy Ric Flair, if they were like real life characters,
They could party.
would love each other.
They'd be drinking different booze, but they could party.
They're getting drunk.
Fuck
Flair
it,
looks
man,
at
let's do
Austin.
this shit.
They're drunk. Flair looks at Austin. So I heard you were supposed to be Chili McFreeze. Austin turns back to Flair. I heard you were supposed to be Spartacus.
Spartacus. Yeah.
We both like blonde chicks with
Right.
big tits. Let's go drink.
Woo! 316. All right. So now I'm moving on here with my card. And this is kind of this might be my match where you guys go, But I have a submission match. And my submission match is between Ken Shamrock and Taz.
I like it.
it makes sense
Yeah.
because and that's the thing people don't seem to realize. And I don't mean to take your thunder away, but like it wasn't until Shamrock came into the World Wrestling Federation that we had the actual tap out.
Right.
It was more just like I submit or whatever. And I think that's brilliant because you have two guys that, like, what a better way to have a tap out.
Definitely.
And I know that 90
Is it a short match?
it is. And I know
Heyo.
And I know that
I'll be back next week. Please tip your waitresses. Thank you.
is where I think both the panel on the show. This is where I think both the panel on the show and probably our listeners are going to disagree with me. Because this is very early in Shamrock's run. I mean, he's just come into pro wrestling on a mainstream basis.
I was
out
like,
of the
Ken
UFC.
Shamrock was in wrestling.
I know.
Like
That's what I said
89.
on a mainstream basis. I'm putting Taz over. And there's two reasons for that. First, I don't like Ken Shamrock and I like Taz. Second,
Vice University, buddy.
Second, I like Taz and I don't like Ken Shamrock. So in this instance, I am totally political. I think it would be a cool at this time submission match, but I am not using Ken Shamrock the way most people would, just because I'm not a fan and I want to put Taz over. And I'm going to have the UFC guy step up to the wrestler and lose to the wrestler. And everybody can disagree with me, and it's fine.
No,
I just
Nate,
never Shamrock
I'll
was
tell you-
never
I'll tell you-
over
I'll
with
tell-
me.
Nate, I'll tell you this. And I've said this before. I'm not a huge in the ring fan of Taz. Now, Taz, as a personality
Right.
and as like a commentator and shit, I love Taz. Okay, like Taz when he would like commentate, like people talk about like the great commentating teams or whatever of all time, and then I know people like knock Michael Cole. Michael Cole and Taz are a good commentating team.
Oh yeah.
And Taz as a personality, I enjoy, but Taz in the ring, I don't care about it. Okay? But I would even say that in the ring, in the match that you just booked, I would put Taz over Ken Shamrock because just as a wrestling person, I'd be like, you know what? Taz has put more into professional wrestling than Ken Shamrock has. So I'd agree.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And here's the thing, like with Ken Shamrock, like it's perfectly reasonable to understand why you're having him lose, because Shamrock is about the only guy I've ever fucking seen in pro wrestling. Well, no, there's a couple, but like that got over by fucking losing.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the only time people gave a shit about him, was when he lost and flipped out.
Right. Get out of my way.
Nobody, I mean, honestly,
I like
really
Ken
gave a
Shamrock.
shit about Ken Shamrock.
I like Ken Shamrock.
So I'm putting Taz over Sham. So now, and this match won't need a lot of elaboration. Before I get to my kind of sort of double main event, I'm going to give us a really good wrestling match.
Ooh.
And that match it has no build. It's just, I'm kind of doing WCW booking here, but it's just on the card.
It's New York rules, bro.
But I won't have to elaborate on why I'm doing this when I say this. My next match, 1997, Kurt Hennig and William Regal.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm just going to sit back and watch these guys wrestle each other for 17 minutes.
Yes.
Why?
Why?
Why not?
Why the
Just
fuck
told you
not,
it's
Kyle
happening.
Army? They're going to have a fucking finish. Sorry, I'm playing
Yeah,
around in that
buddy.
segment.
Somebody's gonna win.
And nobody's going to look better than anybody else in this match.
Oh no.
And Hennig is going to beat Regal with a kind of an out of nowhere perfect plex. And again, just not a lot of elaboration, not a lot of build up. I know. I want to throw a really, really, really good match on this card, and what two better guys to do it?
Listen, I booked Chono versus Shamrock, so you ain't going to get that out of me. I love Kurt Hennig. I love Lord Steven Regal. And at this time, both of them were in their primes. Regal was still young, actually, in 97.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I love it. And, yeah, Hennig has to go over.
Perfect.
Lord Steven
Perfect.
Regal was
Perfect.
one of those guys that, like, he was trying to think of the best way to put it.
Regal's never done anything bad, Kyle,
No.
Oh, Regal's done some bad things.
And there's
in the ring.
many guys.
Okay, I got you now, buddy.
There's never been, in my opinion, a better guy to pull off the character that he pulled off than him. Because he would come out and he would have that disgusted look on his face. Like,
Well, I was going to say in any incarnation of his character.
yes,
Like one of my, it's going to sound really silly, and we'll move on quickly. But one of my favorite Regal moments is in 2004, and it lasts literally 15 seconds. Okay, They paired William Regal up with Eugene.
Yep.
And Nick Dinsmore, God bless him, that guy is one of the great technical wrestlers ever too.
And a hell of an actor.
Absolutely. But anyway, and I love the Eugene character, and I loved the dichotomy between the William Regal and Eugene characters.
I could liken it to the movie Rain Man.
Yeah.
Where Regal felt he had to watch out for this man that was slow or autistic,
Mhm.
and he loved him. He grew to love him.
yeah.
Because at first it was just like, here, you have Eugene, William, and he was like, okay. And then now he's watching out for him. He's not letting
Mhm.
Triple H beat the crap out of him. You know what I mean?
The moment I'm alluding to that sticks out in my head, again, it's only like 15 seconds, all right? But Eugene has a match. I don't even know who it's against. It doesn't even matter. But him and Regal are in their little team and blah, blah, blah. And Eugene has a match. And he pulls off his upset victory because he's an idiot savant or whatever. Yep. And as they're getting out of the ring, William Regal and Eugene play a game of Got Your Nose.
Yep.
And it's one of the best babyface moments ever, because here's William Regal in his suit and everything.
Right.
And here's this kind of dumbass, and William Regal's like, but I like him a lot.
Right.
He's a really good guy, and I'm going to play Got Your Nose with him. Right. And that's what I'm saying. William Regal never did anything badly. He never did anything bad.
And he always stuck to his character, like especially like when they brought Tajiri back.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of
Oh God, that's a fantastic moment too. When Tajiri shows up at the office,
yeah,
he's like, "Oh!"
it was like, oh no,
Oh no,
like,
hello.
Instead of being like, like, oh, it's so good to see you or whatever, he plays it up like,
Now,
oh no, like,
guys,
why?
I have a quick question about William Regal. Because I'm thinking I dreamt this, but I remember it fondly. 1992 or 93, a young wrestler by the name of Steven Regal debuts in WCW on an episode of Worldwide. And for a couple of weeks, he's a fan favorite, just known as Steven Regal. Okay.
It's not even Worldwide. It's Saturday night.
Saturday night, but he's on Worldwide, and then he teams with Davey Boy Smith for a match or two because they're both British and they know each other. And then out comes the little guy, Jeeves, or whatever his name was, which was played by Bill Dundee. And
Sir William.
Sir William. Next week, Lord Steven Regal shall appear. And then that's when we got badass Steven Regal.
Yeah, see, the gimmick with it was that that Steve Regal showed up, not wanting the people to know that he was a British aristocrat, and it came out that he was. And something that's super funny. There's two funny things. Well, there's more than two funny things, but two of the funny things from William Regal's book is he's like, for one, he's like, I'm managed by Sir William, which is Bill Dundee, and he's dressed as a butler.
Right.
And he's like, what butler has ever been considered a sir?
Right. Who knighted him?
Like, he's like, that's weird. Yeah, like, why is this butler knighted as a sir?
Right.
And when I said two, it's actually three funny things. He said also, when he got signed, Bill Watts hired him, and Bill Watts was like, hey, I really like your work. We want to hire you. And he said, well, I can't start for 2 weeks. And he was like, why? And he said, I've made commitments to this British. I've made commitments to joint promotions. And Bill Watts was like, that makes me like you even more. I'll give you $3,000 more. Because he was like, not fucking the promotion he was leaving. Right. And then when he got there, when he got to WCW, Bill Watts was gone.
Right.
And he met Dusty Rhodes. And he said the first time I met Dusty Rhodes, he was in a cowboy hat and cowboy boots and nothing else.
Oh God.
Completely naked. And was sitting on an anvil case. Just completely naked. And standing next to him was the WCW fucking security guy. What's his name? Doug Dillinger. Doug Dillinger. And he looked at William Regal and he was like, Billy Regal? And Regal was like, yeah. And he goes, I want you to go out there. You got 3 minutes with entrances, and I want you to do that British shit. And he was like, well, I can't do that British shit in 3 minutes.
Right.
He was like, that's fine, buddy. But he's like, this is Doug Dillinger. He's my bodyguard. I got my own bodyguard. I'm just like Whitney Houston. Woo! And walked away. And so the first time he met fucking Dusty Rhodes,
he got to see
Dusty Rhodes said, I got my own bodyguard, just like Whitney Houston. And he was naked.
Dusty Rhodes, just like Whitney Houston, had his own bodyguard and big titties. So,
and died in a bathtub.
And what's sad? Wow. We talked about how WCW ruined Bret Hart, but they fucking ruined fucking Kurt Hennig way before Bret Hart.
Well, they did, but then they gave him a glimmer of hope with the West Texas Rednecks.
Yeah, West Texas Rednecks is fucking awesome.
It's awesome. I don't care what anyone says.
No, it's awesome, and then they fucked it up.
Yeah. Let's bring in Master P. Why? Fuck. Why?
Who?
Yeah. All
So
right,
Chalker's birthday party or whatever.
Yeah.
So my next match on the card, my second to last match, my semi-main, is I've got Shawn Michaels and Triple H, D-Generation X.
And they have a non-finished bloody brawl.
This match actually kind of has a non-finish.
Oh,
This is 97. You got DX, Shawn and Hunter against, you can probably guess, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, the Outsiders, with 6 pockets of record.
they all go to Four Corners and thank the fans and hug it out.
This is absolutely everything you would expect a click to be in 1997.
So they all do a finger poke of doom?
Literally, the match doesn't happen.
Oh,
and
God.
I'm booking this in 97, guys. The match doesn't happen. Both teams come out. They do a little bravado, like they're going to kick each other's asses, and then they shit on the promoters and do a curtain.
They hug.
And I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
See, Kyle.
Do you know why? Do you know why I'm fine with it?
Why?
Do you know why I'm fine with it? Because it's not your main event.
And context is king?
Yep.
Now, at any point in time, does Justin Credible run out and go, "You forgot about me"?
No. He's not.
No, he's got a sweep later.
He's got a sweep later. He's serving at Olive Garden.
Yeah. He's got a sweep later and make sure everybody has muffins in the morning.
All right.
Well, what do you guys think? I mean,
I like it, actually. It's what it would have been a big middle finger to any company.
And that's kind of
If it's not your main event, I'm fine.
Oh, and you can't fire Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Triple H, or HBK. So, yeah, you're stuck with us, son of a bitch. You ain't getting rid of us. Kyle's just sitting there like, well, I had it on finish with Triple H and HBK to shit on it.
It was your main event, Kyle.
Because of everything that went down.
At least it didn't shit on the business, Aaron.
I didn't anticipate this earlier when I was writing this, but because of what went down,
right?
Kyle, what do you think?
Like I said, at least my non-finish fucking had some realism to it. It wasn't poor guys going, haha, everything you see is bullshit.
New York rules, bro.
In context,
one of those guys could have got up.
So my main event was on somebody else's card, but I didn't mention it, Aaron, at the time, because it's a different iteration of both guys. My main event, this is 97. This is a redemption. This is Hollywood Hulk Hogan and Bret the Hitman Hart. Ooh. This is Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Bret hasn't left WWF yet?
It's heel Hogan versus heel Bret Hart?
No. This is Bret has been screwed, Bret.
Oh.
So he's a fucking babyface. There's no way he's a heel.
Well, Bret was the heel in 97. That's what I thought about.
No, but Bret gets to WCW, and this is the right booking for him.
Okay, I got you now. I was just... When I think of 97, I think of heel Bret.
Yeah. Oh, and me absolutely too.
Okay, so that's where I thought you were going. I'm like, man, heel Bret, heel Hogan, they'd be friends.
At this point, Bret's probably been screwed, and Bret's never liked Hogan, and Hogan was Vince's boy,
right?
And Hogan is essentially getting to be that. He's getting to be Vince for Bret. And frankly, and a long story short, if anybody wants to add to it, I'm letting Bret go over in this fucking thing with the sharpshooter.
I see a line.
I did to him too, so you're good.
I see a line of Bret saying something towards the effect of, Hulk Hogan, you're the cancer to this business, and I'm the cure.
Yeah. You and Vince.
I think it should be a non-finish, but that's just...
Both men, bloody, in the middle of the ring.
Bret could look at Hogan and be like, look, dude, I didn't like it when Vince screwed me.
Right. You used to let him on a nightly basis.
But you let him take you no holds barred.
Yeah.
you let him
with the teeny wanger.
You let him blow your brains out from a character standpoint, you know.
And then you had to take a big dookie. Anyway.
Vince Russo comes out. New York rules, bro.
Prison poop.
I honestly think that
No, Brett needs to go over because if this is at the height of his when he first gets into WCW.
and I'm not giving him that shitty music, by the way. He gets his WWE music.
Oh man,
I'm not giving him the
W.
That's shitty WCW. He even calls it in his book, "My crappy WCW."
Yeah, he's like, I had to come out there with my crappy WCW angle my crappy WCW music.
You know what's worse? When you watch his debut on the network, it's dubbed music, so it's even worse generic music.
Yeah, it's
Here's
terrible.
my problem.
It's
Hang on.
bad.
Time the fuck out.
Are you going to shit on my card there, Kyle?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm going to say
He's
is
just gonna shit on your rug.
I'm going to shit on Bret Hart for a minute here.
Oh,
How are you going to shit on the crown jewel of Canada?
Here's
you
my
know what?
problem.
You know who else should I?
He
You know who
calls
else
out-
should I? Hey, you know who else should I on Bret Hart for a minute?
Who?
Sonny.
In stereo.
Are you guys
Careful,
twins?
hey.
Have you guys
Careful
been
bringing her
twins
up
all
because
this time?
Medusa will fuck call you out on it.
Yeah, don't even start.
But no, here's what pisses me off about
Sonny
Bret.
and shit gets Medusa all wild up.
David Gold just turned this podcast off.
David Gold's like, I love this. I love
Does
the
David?
fuck.
Does
Fuck.
David Gold want Medusa to shit on him?
No, it's a long story that we're not going to tell on
Yeah,
this show.
maybe we'll tell it on 60 Minutes or less.
Yeah. But no, here's my.
Hey,
I'm
real
gonna,
quick. What are you guys going to talk about on 60 Minutes or Less?
The week in wrestling.
Yeah.
For 2 hours.
Right.
No. We kept it to an hour and a half this past week.
Yeah, it's right.
We're getting there slowly.
Morley
Yeah.
Safer is rolling over in his grave.
You guys,
Sorry, that was obscure, but I had to.
No, it was perfect.
No.
I was going to say, you guys picked one show, I'd watch it and try to contribute, but Jesus Christ. If it's going to be an hour and a half, I ain't joining.
You're more welcome to join us, and you can.
If you're
just
not busy Friday,
commentate
you're
on
more than
stuff.
welcome to join.
When
Yeah,
am I ever busy on a Friday? I
You
just
might be
drink
working. I don't
and
know.
eat pizza.
by all means, come on in. Bring
Well, you
your
ain't
pizza.
sharing pizza with us, so you
Bring-
can't come on now.
Come on, Snoop-a-Loop. Bring your green hat. Let's go.
Line of the night belongs to Kyle. He totally redeemed it. You know what, Kyle? Kyle, I'm giving your show an 8.5 now. I've gone up
Thank
a half a star.
But no.
See, that's how you finish, buddy. That's how you finish.
Kyle, that was the funk dubious, my friend.
That was
That was
perfect.
fantastic.
Well,
That
hang on,
was
'cause
a
I'm about,
finish.
hold on, because I'm about to fucking tank it. Because I'm going to preface this by saying Bret Hart is absolutely one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time.
Yes,
Okay.
and he will tell you that.
He will. But here's my problem.
Over and over
Okay.
and over again.
Bret Hart in his book says, like, oh, I came out to that crappy WCW music. He's Bret fucking Hart. Why didn't he fucking
Right.
change
Wait a minute.
it?
You mean they paid you $100 million and you couldn't say, could we change my music?
That's what I was about to say, though. They paid him $100 million, so he was like, "Fuck it,"
Right.
you know, just taking the
Like,
whatever.
I
I'm
feel
taking
like,
my
I
bank.
feel like with Bret Hart that sometimes he allows shitty things to happen to him just
Well,
so he has
yeah.
something to bitch about.
Yeah. Yep. And
Like,
he almost...
I believe wholeheartly that he knew the screw job was coming and
I
he
was
just
just,
let it happen.
Aaron, I was just about to say, I think everything that Bret Hart ever said was a shoot was a work. He knew everything was about to happen. You know what I mean? Like, he might have went to Sean before Sean cut the Sunny Days promo and be like, hey, mention Sunny. Don't worry about it. I'm good with it.
He's
Go
like, it
ahead.
was everything.
Everything Bret Hart said was a shoot was a work. Just so he could bitch.
And he stole a lot of goddamn bucks.
Right.
Good for him.
You know, I mean, look, I said it on the Thunder Blunder episode. Oh, look, it's Bret Hart, the guy who basically bankrupted WCW. You're pissed about your music?
Yeah.
Your run was garbage. You
Like,
know?
Did you guys see my Jim Barnett joke?
Yes.
But,
Oh, my boy.
and I don't want to. And I'm
Kyle,
not trying to take away
Kyle,
from your Jim-
did you see
Yes,
Kyle? Did you see my Jim Barnett joke?
I did, and I don't want to take away from that yet. But I just want to say this about Bret and this whole thing. Like, it's not like your Disco Inferno. You have some fucking pull.
All right, no. Hold on.
My Jim Barnett joke.
Hey,
My
look,
Your fucking music.
look, Disco Inferno had better music in
Right.
He did.
I actually danced to Disco
And
Inferno.
he had a
Yeah,
boombox. He had a fucking boombox.
My Jim Barnett joke was that Jim Barnett used to
We're back on this
fantasize
again.
about going to the Heart House because he heard Stu was taking guys down in his dungeon and stretching them.
And Helen's like, oh, I don't know what's going on.
I have no idea.
I feel so bad for Helen because like you watch her in fucking Wrestling Her Shadows. She's like, I asked you how long are we gonna be in this business, and he said like 2 years top, and now
all my kids look like donkeys. I don't know
all my
what's
kids are
happening.
married to wrestlers.
And now my daughters look like my sons.
And my sons look like donkeys. What's happening?
Jesus Christ.
Back to my hatred of Bret Hart for a second.
Have you ever noticed though that like
Hey,
other than
does
than,
anybody have an opinion on my card or what?
other than like the Guerreros and the Armstrongs, every wrestling family is ugly as fuck. Have you ever noticed that?
Bullet
The
Bob
ug-
wasn't exactly good looking.
The ugliest
God
has
rest
to
his
be
soul.
the Von Erichs. Let's
Okay.
be
Oh
honest.
yeah, they look like horse fuckers too.
No.
Like
Von Erichs look like, you know how they tell us that man evolved from apes? It looks with the Von Erichs, it's like they were evolving, and then we're gonna stop here. You know
They're
what
like,
I mean?
oh shit, it's Von Erich.
like
The Von Erichs look like they would give you
Lacey Von
and then
Erich,
blame it on you.
like
Lacey Von Erich is adopted. Okay.
And
She's
even
like
then,
she's
even
like
then.
that. She's like the good-looking Munster.
right,
You know,
Marion,
like she's like Marion Munster.
right,
Where she's just in this house with
Right.
all these club-footed,
right.
fucking horse-faced,
Or no footed.
Danny,
yeah, these no-footed, club-faced,
Lacey
black
Von
Or
Erich,
barefooted.
hillbillies.
Aaron,
And here's Lacey Von Erich.
Aaron, Lacey Von Erich at age 8. Daddy, there's a monster under my bed. No, that's your Uncle Kevin.
It's your Uncle Kevin.
That's
He's
Kevin.
not wearing
She's just
shoes.
trying to
He
find
never wears
He has
shoes.
never feet, honey. Don't worry
And
about
you know
it.
what's fucked up about that? Like, you
Like,
listen to him
Uncle
talk, and he's
Terry's
like,
just in the corner walking in a circle.
We left your
That's
other
all he
uncle.
can do.
We left your other uncle in the attic, electrocuted.
here's the fucked up part.
Oh,
Like,
we tried
Everyone
to
was
make
a
he
you.
sits there and he's at his fucking induction ceremony. He's like the worst thing you can ever say about your dad is like, well, I know my dad loved me. Like, I don't fucking think you did.
Right.
He sold tickets to your brother's funeral. Your whole family's a piece of shit. Just saying.
Lacey's like
Except Lance, because he's not related.
that's not
Yeah.
Lacey, age 15. Dad, where's Uncle Lance? Who?
Who?
You know, the guy you had with you in work club. Honey, that wasn't my brother.
Yeah,
Dad,
that
you
was
just
just
had to fill in the blanks.
that was just some guy.
You just added somebody.
We found him out by the
Like-
dumpster, and you know
We
what?
couldn't
He did
find
pretty
we
well,
couldn't
so.
we couldn't locate Jeff Gaylord that
He
day,
was-
so
He was
we made that guy your
he was out by the dumpster that Bubba Ray said your mom was blowing a guy next to.
He said, why not? He fucking fits the mold perfectly. So,
Oh
So,
God!
so what have we taken from this show?
that we've
My
offended
card-
every
my-
listener we have.
My card was really good. Nate's
Yeah,
card
gave-
was all right.
We gave you an 8. We gave Kyle an 8.5.
Nobody rated mine,
I'm
so
giving
It
Nate.
was a 7.
I give yours a 9.
Nate,
Okay,
all
9.
right.
Nate, because I play well with others and I enjoyed your card. You had a lot of uniqueness. I'm giving you a 9.5, so you and I are tied.
All right.
My card was the best. Kyle's
No,
card
your
sucked
card was
because-
the worst. Your card was the worst. We said. Look at his face. He's like, I want to return my
I
shirt.
hate
Aaron booked a card in 1995 without Hakushi or Jean-Pierre Lafitte on it.
Right.
So
How
shame
dare
on
you.
you.
And here's
How
the thing:
dare you?
you got an 8. I got an
They
8.5. So technically,
Well,
your
you can
list.
take it more than I can, buddy.
Don't be mad that I can that I'm professional at it and I get paid for it. You're just
Oh,
pissed
my.
that you have to fucking give it away for free because nobody wants it. So don't even fucking.
So my card was best. Archie and Nate's card came in second.
Yeah, your brother Nate. You forgot your
Joe
name.
was third. And
it's Carrie.
and
Wait, was that a heated meeting joke? I think I know what that meant.
So my card was the best. Kyle's came in last. Nate and Archie's
Yes, Aaron.
tied for second.
Wait,
No,
every
no.
family other
Actually,
than
well, I'm not even going to argue
every
the point.
family other than
So, Medusa no longer listens to our podcast because we mentioned Sonny and shit.
She never did anyway.
Sonny doesn't listen to our podcast for like months.
Sonny's incarcerated.
Wait,
The only
yeah, I
thing
was going to say, Sonny couldn't listen anyway. She's
The
not
only
allowed to
thing
download
Sonny's
anything
Sonny's
for
reading
6 years.
incarcerated. She's
Sonny-
incarcerated, so the only thing she's listening to is NPR and people getting shanked.
No, she's reading Orange is the New Black. Get it right.
Okay, well,
Sonny Reed.
I don't know.
just having somebody read it to
We
her.
totally blew the Von Erichs away.
They blew themselves away, buddy.
And Brett... I left you.
Hold
Wow,
on.
I left you. I threw
Only a
that
couple
curveball
of them
out there,
did
and
that.
you hit it right out of the park. They blew themselves away, buddy. And Bret Hart would never get anywhere near us. But that's a good thing.
And just to reiterate on the Von Erichs, at the end of the show, I did bring up the agony of Lafitte.
Oh my God!
Oh fuck!
fuck.
Oh, Lucy Von Erich.
Do you think that he had trouble buying shoes? I mean, you
No,
just
I got
can't
him
buy.
half off, man.
Nah,
Yeah, but you just can't buy one.
his daddy knew at least a few shoemakers in Dallas.
Oh God, we're so bad. But this is what happens when we go 4 hours.
We're not
3
the one.
a.m.
Yeah.
We're not the one that told him to get on a fucking motorcycle with no fucking boots on.
That's why he was the
Fucking
Texas
wreck it.
tornado, because he just kept
And going around in
walking in a
circles.
circle.
Oh my God.
That's why that business lunch was so devastating.
So on last week's show, because he wanted to completely shit on Ferrara and Russo, I let Kyle do the outro.
Mhm.
And Aaron, because I'm your big brother and I want to deny you this for tonight.
I don't care.
Archie-
I feel like I've done my job today.
All right, Archie, I'm going to let you do our sign-off for this week's We Can't Wrestle podcast, which will probably clock at one of the longest, but
All right. No,
also
David
one
Gold
of the
and I
best,
have the
funniest,
longest.
and most
Oh,
offensive.
definitely. Let me sit up in my chair and straighten my tie. Get all professional.
I'm surprised you had it on this whole show.
Well, it's the only thing I'm wearing. Damn.
That's commitment. I was kind of hoping it would come off, but
Ladies
fuck,
and gentlemen,
I spent 3 hours now trying to wait for you to take that tie off, and
it only comes off on my fans only. You got to pay
Oh,
Fuck, how much is that?
$4.99 a month.
God damn!
It's not that bad. I have a Groupon.
Fuck. Well, what gets me, Archie, is it's the fucking clip on. Where'd you clip it to?
Groupon.
My chest hair.
It's the clip-on Groupon. I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Still better than Kyle's pay-per-view.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, we here at the We Can't
At least
Wrestle
Archie will have
podcast.
a finish.
I'm begging you to please let Archie do the fucking thing. Stop talking over him.
A D, that's all folks know. Ladies and gentlemen, we here at the We Can't Wrestle podcast, thank you for joining us for one of our longest shows ever. If you would have changed anything about our cards, whether it be in 2003, 1995, 1997, or 1998, please drop a comment. Let us know. If you're not subscribed to the We Can't Wrestle podcast Facebook group or YouTube channel, that's right. Aaron just told you what the fuck is wrong with you. Make sure that you join the We Can't Wrestle podcast, World Championship Customs, the Asylum for all your meet and greet needs, the Nerd Closet,
And the upcoming, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but there will be upcoming a 2300 pod group as well.
Awesome. So you got the family of Facebook groups to join. Support wrestling, whether it be local, indie, or anything that's on television. Make sure you join Kyle and I. This week it's going to be Friday, but we are usually Sunday at 10 a.m. Yeah, it's morning breakfast time with Kyle and Archie.
In less than an hour.
Yeah. An hour, 60 minutes or less, Kyle and I talk about the week's word of wrestling.
Or more.
Join Aaron Maxon's group, Trading Chops, for your funny, gut-busting needs. And I think I've shilled enough now. Oh, no, wait. Go into the store and buy some merch from the We Can't Wrestle podcast and the Motley Soup.
Teespring.com.
There you go. There you go. And thank you all. Have a good night.
Wear a shirt.